Hi friends, good evening and welcome to IBM TV Celeb Tuesday. And this is your host Ankit Khandelwal, joining you from Delhi, India. We have Kimberly Calhoun, our co-host, joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Kim, good morning. And it's Celeb Tuesday, and we have a great lineup. And also, we are starting a Travel Tuesday series soon. So Brandon will be joining us to discuss about that. Before that, we also have to discuss about our political show, which is starting post Labor Day. So Bill will be also updating about what's happening and how was that DNC convention yesterday and what are the news from Capitol building. And after that, we have Henning Morales. And after that, we have our own show, Chess Without Borders, that Jim made at 1 p.m. EST. So great lineup as usual. So let's start the show.
Let's get it going, Ankit. Good evening. And I am looking forward to all of this wonderful conversation we're going to have today.
Wonderful. So let's invite our guest.
Starting we have first Ben from UK.
Good afternoon. How are we all today?
Fine. How are you doing?
Yes, very good. Thank you. Very good. Looking forward to another show.
Awesome.
What's happening in London?
What's happening in London? I don't know, because we're about 160 miles from London, Ankit. You keep asking me this, and we're miles from London, miles away from the capital. We're in the countryside. But in the UK, we're currently arguing about A-level and GCSE results. There's a lot of pressure on the Education Secretary. There's a lot of local lockdowns going on because of the coronavirus. And we're still all trying to eat out to help out for the government because they're offering us, as I said before, half price eating out at a lot of places. So that's a quick brief from the UK.
Wonderful. And we'll invite Alexander Starr from Canada, Toronto. Good morning, Sasha. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm doing really well. It's a fantastic day here in Toronto. And I'm looking forward to our show, and would like to listen to every guest what they have to say. There are a lot of news happening, but before I'll do a comment on that, I'd like to hear all our guests first.
Well, just real quick too. Any news on the vaccine in Russia?
Any news about vaccine in Russia? It's hard to say really what's going on. They're all celebrating on all news channels that it's a fantastic vaccine and it helps so much. However, I'm not sure that beside this 100 people that tested the vaccine, I hope all of them is alive. I haven't heard about anybody else who bought or tried the vaccine. So it's kind of or maybe they prepare this vaccine only for export purposes. Maybe they don't want to really do it on Russian citizens, trying to save as many as possible. So they will first try it on their neighbors to see how it works. I don't know really what to say. It's very mysterious.
It's
Jim Aide from California. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing terrific. I think you should ask me about what's going on in San Diego. For respect for my friend in the UK, Ben. Ask him about London. You might as well ask me about San Diego.
I'll tell you why. Because whenever you want to talk about UK, people who are living outside UK, especially in the Asian continent, they will ask about London.
Yeah.
They always do. It's the capital.
Of course.
It's just the same thing because if we talk about California, we will always talk about Silicon Valley because, I mean, that's what the impression is.
I thought it was all about LA and Hollywood when people wanted to know.
Silicon Valley is more popular in India as compared to Hollywood.
Really? That's actually encouraging. I didn't know that.
A lot of people have Silicon Valley dreams. I mean, they have American dreams. So those American dreams, 75% is Silicon Valley. That's why we have a lot of Indians in that valley.
Oh, I can attest to that, Ankit. Yes. And
I was going to visit the valley, so I'm grateful to spend a lot of time there and learn a lot of things with the people who tremendous work they're doing basically. So
the second best Indian food I've ever had has been in Silicon Valley.
But to be fair, Ankit, people are stop asking about the state now, about Hollywood and LA and also Silicon Valley. Then they're starting to ask about the chess champion coming out of the area, Mr. Eade himself. I mean, And I believe you have a guest show today, don't you, Mr. Eade?
Well, I do have my show coming up at 10. I have a couple of guests that I hope will be fascinating. But I do not want to be put in the chess champion category. I have won my share of tournaments, but my fighting days are long gone.
Wonderful. And Ben, I would like to know one thing, because there was an article in India about UK's startup things, and then they said that the startup scene is coming back in UK, and so what do you have to discuss about that? And also, is the Dragon's Den new series coming up now?
I think there's a lot of things that if they've already been recorded, they're probably coming out, because obviously a lot of the telly recordings and shows, etc., were put back. So yeah, I would imagine if there's one on the cutting shelf, it'll be commissioned to go out quite soon. As for businesses and startups, there's always opportunities. There's always opportunities, but of course, there's not as many open goal opportunities as there usually is. So I think startup has slowed down slightly, and that's also because there's actually no support on for small businesses at the moment. There's 3 million. There's a campaign going on called Excluded UK, and that's supporting 3 million directors who have been missed with any kind of support. I do have a little bit of sympathy for the government, because to catch everybody was difficult, but they have missed 3 million directors who pay themselves through tax efficient ways, if I'm honest with you, so dividends, etc. So starting up at the minute is not attractive. But of course, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of businesses that go. I mean, today there's more job losses announced. There's over 100,000 a week lost, and we're not even finding out how many small businesses are going bust. So there will be a lot of gaps when we come out of this, and perhaps that's starting to open up now. So it's probably the best time, but the toughest time, if that makes sense, to start a small business.
It's the saddest time, and I've seen and I've already experienced people who have already lost a lot. I know someone who saved up all their money and went to go to take off, and it never got to take off because of the close down. And a lot of people, it's not just one person, it's a lot of people. And like David said, his neighbor, right? If something happens to the U.S. Post Office, there goes his business. So there's a lot of things going on, Ben, and you hit the nail on the head. That even if they reform the way they do taxing or anything, it's just really not going to be the best of the outcomes of everything. I do want to say something, seeing how it is Celebrity Day. BritBox is like one of my favorite network type TV shows. I watch a lot of TV shows from there, and my favorite is Midsummer Murder. Are you familiar with that, Ben?
Yes, I'm aware of Midsummer's Murder. It's not in my it's not in the family's box to watch, really. Yeah, it's not what we watch. We're aware of it. Yeah, it's I mean, if the children want to become detectives, then maybe I'll get them to start watching things. But no, yeah, BritBox is great. It's a BBC and ITV thing, but we've just upgraded our Apple phones. We've got 12 months of Apple TV at the moment, so I'm making the most of Apple TV whilst you're making the most of BritBox. So
is that crazy? You're right. So BritBox, PBS, BBS have all been like probably my favorite for 40 years. So I've always been a big fan of the programming. Always good quality. Even the comedy shows, some of my favorite, like As Time Goes By and Waiting for God and things like that. Just old slapstick comic stuff. So, but I do enjoy the Midsummer Murder Mysteries. I think I've watched all 28 seasons.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think I've watched 28 seasons of anything.
Have you ever known of a show to last 28 seasons?
I know, that's true. That's amazing.
What about Modern Family? That must be close, mustn't it, in the States? Modern Family must be close to 28.
Is it? I guess.
That had a long run too, but I don't think it got to 28. No.
I don't think it made it to 28 either. But Midsummer Murder Mysteries, they went so long that the lead detective, who was there majority of those seasons, finally just had to retire, and they put in a new one to replace him, and it made it like it was his cousin from the county over.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know what it is
Plot
about that
device there. Yeah.
Right. I think I like it because it's almost a 3-hour. Each show is 3 hours.
Wow.
And but it's finished, right? But no, it comes in 2 segments.
Oh, okay.
So it used to come on every Sunday, but now you can binge watch the mess out of it.
Oh, sure.
And so but no commercials, right? You had a commercial at the beginning and the end, but other than that, and Bentley, I think Bentley is their sponsor. It is for mature, but no blood and guts. That's what they only did 1 bloody scene out of 28 seasons, and I asked myself, why did they do that? But it just, to me, just good sound quality. Another one of my favorites is, you guys are going to laugh at this, Death in Paradise. Yeah, everything goes into death.
Yeah. We do work Death in Paradise.
There you go, some common ground.
Yeah.
Found
I
it.
mean, it is funny, even though it's about death. It is a really funny show. And the lead man is always the lead. It's been a lead man for the past 3 series. He's always a comedian. But most of you may know Red Dwarf. It's obviously a very famous comedy series. And the cat out of Red Dwarf plays one of the detectives, and he's one of the coolest detectives in the world. So, yeah, really funny. Death in Paradise. Yeah, but I've just gone to our friend Google for the longest running scripted US series, and it's The Simpsons.
Yes,
Of course.
Yes,
How about
it is.
Doctor Who, Ben? Doctor Who's got to been going forever.
Oh wow!
But longest made. Not just longest aired, but longest made. So 20. How many? I would have to go look. How many seasons did Simpsons create?
31.
Whoa! So Midsummer's is almost there.
Yeah,
Well, the Simpsons haven't aged at all. They didn't have to replace Homer with his cousin.
Right. Right. So another good famous one, and occasionally famous actors love to go on from the U.S. is Doc Martin. Has anyone seen Doc
yes.
Martin?
We love that, my wife and I. Oh, yes. Got all those seasons.
Doc Martin, I binge watched that.
Yeah.
So I binge watch these shows and get caught up. Ankit left. Ankit, don't you watch these?
I think we turned them off with our TV viewing habits.
So
He's currently watching Midsummer's Murders in the background.
Yeah, trying to find it. Yeah.
I'm
He's
gonna
downloading it now.
Let me put it to you this way. I think so. The detective, when they interviewed him just before he retired, he goes, I decided that we've literally had to we killed off everybody who lives in Midsummer by now, except me and my wife. And I was like, because in each session of at least 5 people die.
Yeah. And there's only so much people you can kill. And
it's when they come back about 2 seasons later and you think, I'm sure they've been in it before.
Yeah, they were just in a coma or something. Yeah.
It's worse than a soap opera. But but there's just something wonderful about some of those, as time goes by, if any of you get to watch that's a lovely love story that went on for many, many seasons. And very, very funny. And it never gets old to me. For whatever stupid reason, it never gets old to me. And my favorite American TV show, and it's really weird because I could watch it over and over and never feel like I actually saw everything in it, is MASH.
Oh, yeah.
Why I liked MASH so much, but the quality of the filming, the quality of the character acting. If you really, now that I guess I know what it costs to film, and to build sets and making sure that everything looks exactly right. If you ever have to, stop and start over, I really appreciate that because I really look at the details now, and they were good. The director was.
I don't want to shock you, Kimberly, but they weren't actually set in Korea.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that, but they did a good job.
Yes.
And they seem natural to me. So there was some really good quality of filming when their characters could move you, and that's rare, right? That is just very, very rare. But it told the story of war from a different scene, you know, you saw blood occasionally. That was real in those operating rooms, right? So it just, but I was just, I don't know. That's another one that I could watch over and over.
Do you think Alexandra May knows that The Lord of the Rings wasn't filmed in Middle Earth? It was actually in New Zealand.
Because actually New Zealand is the Middle Earth.
Okay, all right.
Think about it. They don't have COVID right now. There's something special about New Zealand, and I had looked at retiring there for a while. I really did, because if you moved there before you turn 50 and established yourself before you turn 50, it's a great place to retire. You know, the benefits are just phenomenal there, and the people are nice, as we've heard from our guest.
And you know Rakesh now.
I know Rakesh and the other gentleman that was on our show, Sabi, right? Wasabi.
Was he? I know. Was he from New Zealand?
Yeah, he lived in New Zealand. That's where he moved to.
I thought he was in Holland.
Oh, Netherlands. Was he in Netherlands?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he was in Netherlands. Oops, I got that mixed up.
That's okay.
But anyway, New Zealand, though, to me is the Middle Earth. They spent, if you think about the years they spent building all of that.
Just incredible production value too, though, because those scenes were just so dramatic and beautiful.
You know, another one that took, I think it was 7 years to film, was Willow. Did you ever see Willow?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
So Val Kilmer was the lead actor in Willow, and if you would get a chance, watch it. It is Ron Howard directed it, and it was absolutely fabulous, beautiful. You know, again, another one of those people who knows how to take the environment, the scenery, and not use a lot of the special effects that we use today to create something.
He's a fantastic director.
That's another one of those movies that when I'm not feeling good, I could just plug in and just watch and just.
All right, I'm writing it down.
Willow. It's like, to me, it's very much like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, now you got me.
But it was filmed. Yeah, it was filmed way before Lord of the Rings. Way, way before. I mean, I'm trying to remember, because I had met Val Kilmer when he was filming Top Gun. And I'm trying to remember when Willow was filmed not long after Top Gun. So, but it did take them 7 years. But, you know, these are some great movies that a lot of people have never heard of that, you know, are worth the time to watch. I must be in movie mode. I watched an interesting movie the other night called Knives Out.
Oh, yeah. My sister-in-law told me to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess everybody's watching these movies now. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis,
great
Chris
cast.
Evans.
The two
Don Johnson. Don Johnson looks better there than I've seen him anywhere. I mean, but great mystery movie. Yeah. Great. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but just one of those great
taste in movies, and she gave the thumbs up to that one. So
it was fabulous, and I'm glad that I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it.
Yeah. I've downloaded it, but I have not watched it.
Yeah, it's got that old James Bond. What's his name? Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. Yeah. So it's got Daniel.
I know him personally, and he and I hang out because we're kind of alike.
Yeah, you got the hat thing going on.
I've never seen Daniel Craig in one of them shirts.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
That's a good point.
Daniel Craig, I have a feeling that you always see him in a suit. He won't leave home without a suit. Quite a good. I liked him better in this movie than I did in his James Bond character. I never cared.
Great in those James Bond movies.
Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't my favorite James Bond. So,
I only have one favorite. I don't know who's your favorite.
You tell me who yours is.
I reckon ours are the same, Jim.
Sean O'Connery.
Yeah, Connery. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I told somebody that would be the one person that I could, and a friend of mine knows him personally. And they keep teasing me that they're going to introduce me to him. But you know, Sean O'Connery is not his name.
Oh, probably not. Nobody's got their real names
Not
out
his
there.
birth name. But they keep teasing me that they're going to introduce me to him because I will actually have heart failure if I meet that person.
Well, he and I got in a fight once.
Huh?
We were at the same bar, and he said, Ben's got my sense of humor now.
I was gonna say I've never seen Jim and Sean Connery in the same room.
Yeah, okay. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It's Jim Sean.
It's time to welcome our White House correspondent. So please introduce Jim, Bill.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
So Kim, it's time to welcome our White House correspondent.
Oh,
Bill.
that's right. It's time to. So everyone, welcome to IBM.TV. We are having a wonderful day on Celebrity Tuesdays. I am your senior executive producer, Kimberly Calhoun. To my left and right, I have Ankit, all the way from India. Good evening, Ankit. He is our senior executive producer and the person who makes all of these great things happen. And next to Ben, Ankit is Ben, all the way from the UK. Not London, folks. He's
Not London.
In a lovely countryside, and where the best fish and chips are. And when COVID's over, I am going to head straight to there to have my fish and chips and visit with Ben and his beautiful, lovely family. But Ben is an entrepreneur who promotes entrepreneurs. He is a great person to get in contact with to help get that entrepreneurship going. We're going to be doing some more startup shows coming up. We've got some interesting noises going on here. We've got our wonderful White House correspondent all the way from Washington, D.C., Bill. Good morning, Bill. How are you doing?
Good morning.
You're looking
Bill, there is a lot of feedback from your system today. I mean,
we got a little TikTok.
I think it might be on my end.
Okay. I'm going to mute it for a second. Okay, it's got to be coming from him. All right, we'll get that fixed. Yeah. And then we have all the way, not what Nick says, but all the way from San Diego.
Thank you, Kimberly.
All the way from San Francisco area, Jim Eade, who is also the host of Chess Without Borders, which is on this afternoon. But Jim is also a financial investor, which is one of the reasons he brings other great value-added conversation. He's also very familiar with a lot of the celebrities from around the world coming from Silicon Valley. But Jim E., good early morning to you. And then Sasha disappeared, folks. You know, Sasha will be back.
Just right before you introduced him, too.
Right. So Sasha took off. I'm not going to let her.
Welcome to live TV.
Kim's not very good at this. So I will share with you, you know, given that this is I'm not a celebrity, but when I first started with Nick, it was quite interesting because again, you have to understand, I swore I would never be on that side of the camera. And the only reason why I did it was to meet a handful of people because I was just like, wow, I actually get to ask them questions. And he goes, yeah, so that's why I did this, right? And then, of course, we developed a relationship, and I thought this was kind of an interesting job because I didn't have to do the intro. I just had to show up. I had to do my homework. I had to read people's books, which I'm good at, take notes, which Nick would steal. Write you out, Nick. Write you out. So Nick would steal my notes. Oh, these are great. Thank you.
Let someone else do the work, then take credit.
Go sit down, Kim. Because he go, Kim, did you read the book? Yeah, I did. Can I see your notes? Yeah. Thank you. Love it. But anyway, it was great because it allowed us to be in sync so that we could, definitely get the interviews done. But that's how I met David K. Johnson, David M. Walker, John Fanning, just, and the list goes on from there. But I could never do the opening. I would watch Nick. I would play, replay. I even helped direct and composed our first intros. Didn't know what to do for that. And I never could get it. I would freeze. I would blah, 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 blah. No matter how often I rehearsed it. And I kid you not, the first time I had to do it, Nick got sick. and we had Gary Shapiro, head of the CES, lined up. And I couldn't cancel. You can't cancel this guy.
Well, also, you had the fear of public speaking, and you turned out to be a great public speaker. So
well, I turned out, but it wasn't then, right? So it was so funny because we were filming with PBS at the time, and these are great guys. Oh my God, I will never forget them. Hi guys, and they calmed me down. They said, "Don't practice so hard. Stop practicing so hard." You know. And this is what they told me: we're going to film it 7 times. We're going to film your opening 7 times, and we'll work with the best one. Well, let me tell you, 7 wasn't enough.
I'm feeling that.
But the interview turned out great. If we, if you could cut from the intro to the, hi Gary, welcome to Money Masters. And if we could start from that point on, it was great.
You needed Ankit to do the intro for you.
So Ankit, the first time, he was a little frozen. I'm just picking on you, Ankit, but he was. But you could tell he practiced and he rehearsed really well, but he didn't miss a note. He didn't miss one note. And now he's so relaxed when he says it. It's unreal. But,
I got to text him now and then to make sure he's awake. Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, it was but Nick does it so natural. But I think I realized that he actually rehearses a lot, but he's got a good memory for things. He's always got his notes, right? Nick is a well-prepared person. I don't like to look like I'm reading. I would rather have it up here. But what I learned is it doesn't have to be every word perfect. See, I didn't know that, right? You can leave
inspiration, mostly perspiration. So you got to do that preparation before, so you know what you're talking about.
But the best tip I ever had was from from 3 really great speakers, and they said, just if you're doing something for a 30-minute slot, remember 3 things that you want to give people, right? Well, your opening could be the same thing. Just keep in mind the 3 main topics that you want to do, and
always have people can retain anyways. They're only going to remember a couple things that 3 maybe.
What they told me. What they're going to remember is your opening and your closing. And if you tell them up front, this is what I want you to get out of this, then they're going to pay attention to those things. And then they say, if you keep it to 3, 5 at the max,
right?
But don't go over. Don't overload them, and they'll come back and see you again.
That's great advice. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And it really just helped me so much to be able to speak in front of the graduating class of North Carolina State University, which I was just like, how do I do this? Oh my gosh, this is. And so when they gave me that tip, the way I spoke up from that day forward was different.
Well, I got invited to speak at a commencement party, but I got bumped by Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah. No. Sean Connery got bumped by Val Kilmer.
Sean Connery got bumped by Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer bumped you, did he?
I guess he just had a movie coming out or something. Yesterday's news.
What you should have done is said, have you seen my book?
Yeah.
Right. You picked Val over me. I got Chess for Dummies. Come on, people.
Box office smash. Come on.
The actors always bump the smart people. Well, actors are smart too. Let me tell you something. It takes a lot to do acting.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they don't get up there and just talk about their knowledge and let it roll from there, right? Like we get to do, because we don't rehearse anything, people. We literally don't rehearse anything. But they have to know their lines. They have to know their station. They have to know their positions, their movements. Just so much involved. I could never act. I mean, I was on set with Henning, and I'm like, there's just no way. And these guys have got to know exactly what they're going to say, and they got to make it look natural. And
they've done movies about people that are motivation, or what's the word for certain actors? They have to get into the character. So they would be going around the stage going, what's my motivation? What's my motivation? And, and they would make it comical, because that's how actors have to get pumped up. And they've got to be able to they've done their preparation, they know their lines, but they still have to get into character, which is something that I can relate to.
That's right.
Do you know what though, Jim? I mean, I when I talk about people about business and networking, a lot of business owners go networking and won't read a script. And I keep telling them, actors and actresses are paid millions of pounds to read a script. Yes, they have to act it out, of course, but they're paid millions of pounds to read a script for 90% of the time. And you get some business owners that won't even prepare a 1 minute elevator pitch, and they won't read a script.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. So,
and that elevator pitch is so important because you only get so much attention for so long a period of time, and you've got to have it nailed.
But business owners won't read a script, and yet actors read a script 90% of their life. They only spend about 10 to 15% of the time acting.
Right.
but you know what's hard about an elevator pitch? Well, one, if it's your invention or your product or your service, it usually comes from the heart.
Right.
But to spin something from your heart in a Twitter can be very, very hard. Like if I gave you my invention, I would ask you to give me a 3-sentence pitch on it. In fact, this might be an exercise for us to do tomorrow on Startup Wednesday. But because nobody could spin it in 3 sentences. My invention is, something different, but it was very, very hard. But one of the things I love to do, and that was a homework assignment that I would give our team is once a week they had to come to our meeting and they had to give me a 3-sentence speech of what we were doing and why. And every week it changed. Everyone's pitches would change, but that's where I would start pulling my spinoff pitch. Blah. So anyway, but what we have today is our Washington White House correspondent, Bill.
Do we really have him this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, and my apologies. I feel so terrible.
Not at all. We've all done it.
You know what it is? I'm an internet dummy. Jim, can you write a book for that? Because I didn't.
If I hired a ghostwriter.
Jim, I was pushing buttons and I was looking for your book.
What it is, you used all your bandwidth watching the Democrat convention last night. That's what it is, Bill.
Oh yeah, I did, and I took notes, and then I watched.
Bill, can you be a bit louder because the voice is very low. Actually, we can't hear you properly.
Up your audio.
Let's try to help you figure out. Let's try to figure this problem out. There is a little bit of a glitch.
Yeah.
He looks great. The quality, the 1080 is looking awesome. I don't know if you guys know this, but we upgraded.
Let's work on the audio.
The audio. Okay.
That's
the
better.
Audio.
Because compared to looking at the rest of the screens, Bill, yours is tremendous. I think that's because like the things like me, Jim, and Ankit and Sasha are in the pictures, but you and Kimberly look superb for some reason.
You guys do. I don't know. It's high definition on that side.
It's more to do with the person in the picture, Jim. Yeah.
You guys, look, on the one hand, I miss you guys. So okay, let's try this. It's as good as it gets. It's like the movie with Jack Nicholson.
That's right.
It's as good as it gets.
For today, we're a rolling kind of progress. I did watch.
Do me a favor. There's a settings button called camera mic on your dashboard.
Yes.
Can you click on that?
Yes.
Click on audio.
You sound better already.
Do you have disabled audio processing clicked?
No.
Okay. Now run a test. Do me a favor and run a test.
Okay, I just did that. And how is that?
It sounded a little bit better. Do you have any apps running on your computer?
That's great. That's better.
It is getting better.
Yeah. You're making progress, and that's all we care about.
Well, this is a good learning experience. This is one thing I like about this.
What happened?
How does he do that? Because Holmes does that too. I like that. But let's
think what I think is that I think Bill is using his mobile phone today. That's why.
Okay. So what kind of mobile phone is it?
I'm on my cell phone.
Okay. That's Oh,
10.
Lost him.
Yeah, we need to get back on your computer, Bill.
we'll work on it. We'll work on it. I mean, this is the challenge of this. We're also going to have another guest today. I don't know. He's going to try to beam in. Paul Sladkus. He is, I was talking about him earlier.
Well, do you want to ask me about the Democratic Convention?
Do I want to ask you about it?
Yeah, just until Bill gets
The
his
reason why
voice
I
into the
do
game.
is because you are a Democratic fan, so I'm sure that you've got a lot of good things to say. So yes, so share with us because I didn't watch it. I
Okay.
remember I made a promise. I'm putting on my blinders right now because I'm getting aggravated at these things.
Yes, I understand that. I definitely relate. For a long time, I couldn't even read the editorial pages in the paper anymore. So it was just, too much. We
Right.
just got overloaded.
So how did it turn out? I mean, well, how did it start?
Well, I think I'm stalling long enough to get Bill back on. But
No,
Yeah,
I'm
go
here,
ahead and share with us.
the instructions in the new book as a note, Jim, it said move closer to the router.
oh, well that's what I do. So
Get closer to the router.
yeah.
Right.
So we've moved closer to the router.
Okay. So if you lean forward and talk, I can hear you really well.
Okay.
This is
Well, then
but I think Bill, just last thing, just close one of the lights because it's too bright at your end and the picture won't look good. One of the lights, which is on the front side.
We'll get this.
All I care about is the audio. Ankit's more particular than I am.
Well, as long
He's
as
not. He's not like that with me and you, Jim. He's usually telling us
No,
to turn
no.
lights off. He's usually telling us
Turn the
to turn
lights
lights
off.
off. Yeah,
Turn
yes,
them
yeah.
off. No,
My next man is Ben. Actually, I have to work with Ben to make things working for Ben because we are working on a show as well. So maybe once Ben started that show, so I have to be particular with that as well.
Yes, I understand. Yeah. You never had to work with Sasha. He had it nailed from the beginning.
Sasha is having best of the director. We have Vin, so Vin tickets of Sasha, so I don't have to do anything like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. No.
I like it when Sasha plays the piano. So
Okay. Too bright?
Brilliant, Bill. Spot on.
much better.
Yeah, we'll work out the details later because once we get Ankit on board, then you're set. But right now, the rest of us are okay.
Okay. How's that?
Much better. Lean forward just a little bit so we can hear you. And we'll work on the sound.
You guys, I give.
I know. You just want more.
Lean forward. Have you ever worked with a photographer and they go,
Oh,
throw your shoulder back like
a
this?
little to the left. A
elbow
little
out
to,
like this.
no, too far. Yeah.
Lean forward. Stick your chin out.
So in the meantime, I think we should take some feedback from Jim. What happened in DNC
Right,
yesterday?
let's do that.
Jim, over to you.
We'll give Bill a minute. And we'll get Bill up. Don't worry, because we definitely want his input. But Jim, share with us what happened at the convention.
All right. Well, the thing that really made the news, I have my own take on it, of course, but the thing was that a lot of prominent Republicans, not a lot, but some prominent Republicans came on to pitch for Joe Biden. And I've never seen that in any convention in either party. So this is a very different time. As we all know, we live in interesting times. And so this was something that I had never seen before. I don't think had ever been done before. And it was very interesting. John Kasich from Ohio was one of the speakers. And he was actually, if I was going to pick a vote in the Republican primary, I would have voted for him. I have a lot of respect for him. And he's what I would refer to as the old Republican Party, which has gone extinct. It no longer exists. But the old Republican Party, which was a respected party and had many respectable people representing it, has vanished, which is why George Will, who is one of the best conservative writers out there, no longer is voting for the Republican candidate this year, and he hopes to in 2024. But he will not vote for Donald Trump in 2020. And that's George Will, who's the bastion of the Republican Party. Great conservative voice, great writer, one of the most respected people out there. And so when John Cassius, who I admired, George Will, and other prominent people were out there saying, hey, we cannot vote for this guy. Vote for Joe Biden. It was amazing. It was amazing. And we opened up with the boss, Bruce Springsteen. And, you know, I put it on Facebook, you know, hey, we got the boss. What you guys got? Because you can't get better than that. So I thought it was a very impressive opening. You know, a lot of speakers, Elizabeth Warren, a lot of prominent Democratic speakers, of course, which you would expect. But it was the prominent Republican speakers that was mind-blowing.
Jim, but excuse me, Jim, these prominent Republicans, they're rather exception because majority, the huge majority of Republicans, they stuck by Trump. Although at the beginning of the process, he was just one of the 17 faces, they all despised him and were trying to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Yes.
So now we can discuss a phenomenon of Trump who single-handedly changed completely political picture of the United States and specifically Republican Party. The people who despise him, and in many cases are much more better suited for a job, more educated, have more experience, they all went down under him willingly. So this is a phenomenon. How the man of dubious talents and criminal past could undermine his political Republican Party and then all United States, or at least close to half of it. How that charlatan was able to do that? There is only one thing happened in the history of the world. It's Adolf Hitler, who was a very mediocre person, who couldn't even get admitted to a Vienna Artistic Academy. He became a dictator and horrible person, as of course all we know about him. But how Trump in 2016, how he could achieve that? This is my biggest question that I have no answer.
I have an answer. And
okay.
What I'm more worried about is how could he possibly be reelected in 2020? Because in 2016, he played the successful businessman, which was a scam. He was not a successful businessman. 6 bankruptcies. Trump University was a catastrophe. His Trump charity was anything but a charity. He was all based on lining his own pockets and letting the other people suffer.
All the condominium scams, including Toronto and so on. But look, it seems to me that people preferred to believe in a story of a successful financier and so on. They just love success, even they are down the drain and have nothing but debts and complete idiots. But they love. Oh, okay, I'm a failure, I'm an idiot, and then I'll die as an idiot. But here is somebody successful. He's a liar, he's also an idiot, but he made it. So why would they vote for another bureaucrat who will be in Washington and trying to make himself and his friends rich? It's rather to have somebody who is already rich, or he says that he is rich, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's get it. Okay, they got it. They got what they wanted. Now, if second time America will elect Trump, that means that this is a stupid country with a stupid people who cannot, or at least majority. Okay, there will be you Jim, who will vote against him. I understand that, but the majority of people, if and ever they elect Trump for second term, complete idiots, just deserve to be all killed.
Well, I would not be so polite as you, Sasha. You're an old school gentleman, so you're using polite words to describe it. But if we do that, I always say, you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. You know,
Absolutely.
So if he gets it in there again, you know, we have to take the blame for that. You know, don't blame him, blame you. the voter.
Well, the other thing I want to do is let's talk about what happened during the convention. What did Biden say he was going to do? What did Kamala say? What was the speeches, the impact of the speeches from
They're
the?
going to talk tonight and tomorrow. They
Okay,
didn't talk yesterday.
so last night was just the rally,
It was
and
the intro. Yeah.
it was
And-
just a rally.
But I think there was I'm not sure, but in India, the news is that Michelle Obama had a great speech and then she covered a lot of points. And that
Yeah,
was something
it's
very
fantastic.
powerful. And then,
The big question
So
is,
she
the big question is, Jim, was there anything to change the course of the election?
Well, that I am not qualified to remark upon.
No,
But I do think that it was arousing. There one part of Joe Biden that I did see. He was interviewing several people on the phones, and they were on the screens, and they were all talking about race relations, and they were talking about how are we going to change our divided country, because we all know that Trump is the great divider, and we need to be unified. And so a lot of the messaging was about unifying people. Disparate backgrounds, you don't look the same, but there's more than we have in common than we have that is different.
Because
And some of our differences are skin deep and no further.
Because what we have to be careful of course, is, and it happens not just in America for this, but across the world, is are you voting somebody because they're better than what you have, or are you voting somebody because they're good for the country? And there's a massive difference there, isn't there? And that's what Biden needs to show, that he's good for the country, not just better than Trump, I think. If he goes and shows that he's good for the country, that'll win it. If he tries to show he's better than Trump, he's almost coming down to Trump's level.
I agree.
That's what I hope. Hey, there we go, Sean Connery. I'll vote for him. All right. I mean,
but that's an old picture of me. I got my beard better now.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. I'm making my mind up. Yeah, I mean, Sean might have me beat. Maybe he's a little more handsome.
He's not too different. You both got that same kind of look.
And when we had that fight, I think it was all down to who got the first punch in.
Right. And I think
Either
you
way.
need a bow tie. You need a bow tie, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pull that off, though. Sasha can, but I don't know if I can pull a bow tie off.
Yeah.
Doesn't go with the shirt.
The only difference is the bow tie.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Well, Jim's got some distinguished glasses, and they're the AI glasses. The spy glasses.
Yeah, I can see
that is from Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley glasses.
Yeah.
Google glasses.
That was the message. That was the message off stage. Bill's going to be back in a minute.
Okay, so I think that let's talk a little bit more then about the convention. See how we have this time. What will happen tonight? Let's talk a little bit about that. Who is geared to speak? Now, we know that Bruce Springsteen, he performed at Hillary's as well. So that's good that he's still supporting the Democrat Party. They had Republicans, kind of priming the pump, basically saying we're supporting the Democratic candidates because we feel like they're better people. Like Ben said, we're supporting them because they are promoting the platform that we want to sponsor, probably not just for the country, but for the whole world, right? But we need to fix our country, and they know that Biden and Kamala are the team to do it. So what else is on the platform?
Well, one of the things that I thought, I can't speak to what's on tonight because I was really relying on Bill because I only watched part of it. But I did see people coming on from Homeland Security who are lifelong Republicans saying that what's going on behind the scenes in Homeland Security is shocking, and that they cannot support Trump. They don't see America surviving another 4 years.
Oh my God, I'm going to now have to watch this. I didn't know that they were going to be on because of some of my friends. Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so this guy was kind of young, but he said he was a lifelong Republican, and but behind the scenes, listening to how they were trying to educate the president about things that were very serious in nature, and he just was dismissive.
You can't educate stupid.
You can't educate stupid. And Biden is not stupid. And Biden will surround himself with people that knows things that he does not know. and he will rely on their expertise and their evaluation of what's going on. And Obama did the same thing. Most great leaders did. Reagan did this. You can't know everything. Trump is under the illusion that he knows everything, better than the generals, better than the scientists, better than the doctors.
It's
you
not
can't operate
him.
that way.
It's not him. Putin knows everything. And Trump knows only what Putin tells him. By the way, do you know that Trump in this 4 years or so, he spent more time with Putin on the phone calls, seeing him here and there, than with any other leader in the world, number one. Number two, remember when there was a Mueller investigation and Mueller's report? Mueller, either he was not allowed, or he couldn't, or he decided not to, but he didn't follow the money. The number one rule of any investigation: follow the money. He failed. He didn't. Why? I don't know, but he did not. So his report was inconclusive. Especially Barr presented it as there is no collusion, Russian, and we of course seen exchange between Kamala Harris and Barr. You've seen probably that, and but the main
smarter in that exchange.
Smarter?
Yeah.
Barr looked like a stupid 8 years old kid who is scolded by his teacher, and the teacher was about to hit him, but she didn't. But she was close to it. Just answer my question, yes or no.
But maybe,
Then he turned around to his lawyer.
Yes. Get me out of this. Get me out of this. She's tough.
Oh my God! What an insult! What it just shows what people this charlatan brought on the top of United States of America. My God, maybe if I would live in America, maybe I didn't see it that way. But because I'm outside, and because I know what they put into all this affair, all their knowledge, the espionage, the qualified people, you can't even imagine how many people sleeping cells are in the United States. There are in Canada, I'm pretty well sure, but see, Canada is a small fish. What's espionage? Okay, so you learn that Trudeau paid his mother $270,000. It's a matter of 3 years, apparently. She did do some job. She was speaking. So how dare he is to pay her only, it's like almost below poverty line. What a criminal.
Help us out, Ben. We're so different. He's getting me so different.
I know, I tell you what, I do think that Trump has been absolutely superb for Obama, because normally when a presidency comes to an end, there's issues that come out of the woodwork, etc., because that's just natural progression. It's obviously things, evolving. But Obama looks far and away the best president the States has ever had, because it's just been downhill since. So I think for Obama's stock, I think Trump has been tremendous in that respect. It's just sad that it's had to go to that situation, because every president, when the presidency ends, it's like, well, you could have done this better, you could have done that better. But nobody's talking about that now from Obama. And of course, nobody ever agrees with the president 100% because it's the president's rule. But Obama will never have that situation now coming out of his presidency of people criticizing anything he's done. So I think for his stock and his worldwide stance, Trump has been the best thing to happen in a funny way.
I will give you one example of that. When John Lewis, one of the leaders of the civil rights movement, passed away, Obama gave a eulogy that was just brilliant. And you could not imagine Trump doing that. And when Trump was asked about it, he said, well, John Lewis didn't show up to my inauguration, so why should I show up to his funeral? But you could not have had a bigger contrast between two people.
But Barack was there, Barack Obama was there, and Michelle, and they went through that inauguration ceremony with such grace.
Yes.
And he clearly didn't want to be there. His body language towards Trump was as you'd expect.
Yes.
But he went through with it. He did everything that a president should do at that inauguration. No matter what happens, that's it. He's done his 8 years. He has to say thank you very much.
Class act from start to finish. And
That's
Go
the
ahead,
difference. I'm sorry. No, I'm loving this because you're speaking about exactly what I have always said, that there is no integrity. We lost integrity back in 2016 when Trump took over. But, you know, and I watched someone list all the people who didn't show up to his inaugural party. I didn't show up either.
I missed
I
it.
wasn't invited.
But no, listen to me. Oh, the invitations go out, trust me. But some of the plates, they're very expensive. Some plates you don't have to pay for, but it's still very expensive to go to.
Yes.
I mean, I got to buy the new dress, the new shoes, the hair, the makeup.
Where did all that money go?
And then I got to go to DC and pay those ridiculous housing prices for the weekend, right? It's just because the prices go up tremendously. So it's just really not worth it. It's not enjoyable. But and maybe it was the person. But here's the thing. He insulted, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he Twittered and insulted like almost every Democratic person before the inaugural party. Like, he had nothing nice to say to any of them, but he was Twittering, from what I was told, that he insulted some of the people who did not show up. Would you show up?
Well,
Now,
Kimberly, I have to say that I know what Donald Trump thinks of you. He thinks you're nasty.
I know.
Every intelligent woman is nasty to Donald Trump.
Because he's afraid of me, and he's afraid of smart women. He really is. If you look at whenever he had to go up against anyone, the first words out of his mouth is always an insult. Oh, you're putting on weight. Oh, your hair looks horrible today. Oh, it's never about the topics. And if you ask him a question, if he's asked a question of, you know, what do you think we should do about COVID-19? Well, I'll figure it out later. Or why is your tie blue? It's never the answer or the solution. He'll find a way to divert the situation. But that's, you know, businessmen do that. And
Well,
I
he's an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. So
Right.
he needs the crowds to love him up with adulation. He needs that inside because he's got this massive inferiority complex, and he compensated with a massive egomania.
If you've got the most powerful man in the world being inferior, where are we at as a world? You know, is the leader of the free world?
We elected him too, so it's on
you
us.
have to ask yourself too. He never hires people, or he fires a lot of people.
Not to their face.
But he never hires people that can get the job done. Period.
No, his cabinet
You know,
has
we're having
resigned
economic
because-
problems. Pick up the phone and call David K. Johnson. Pick up the phone and call a panel of economic experts from the universities. Okay, we're having a COVID problem, an infectious disease problem. You know, I know we have Dr. Fauci, but he's not an infectious disease doctor. You pick up the phone and you call infectious disease doctors and you go, okay, how do we control this? And then you get them connected internationally. But he fears that. He absolutely fears having somebody smarter than him on a panel.
And one thing you don't do is eliminate your pandemic team right before the pandemic hits.
Well, you don't know when the pandemic's going to hit, but this is what I say: do you fire?
It's going to hit sometime. Keep them.
Right, and that's just it. It's called preventive.
Yeah.
Do you fire all of your fire department and rehire them after
When there's a fire?
starts? So that's the thing is people couldn't see a pandemic hitting the U.S. We've been spending, you know, a couple $1 million, maybe $25 million a year on a pandemic team to make sure that things were in place, to make sure that if something ever happened, but nobody could ever see. But my point is, and we talked about this yesterday, if I'm a director and you came to me every week and we have a pandemic, then I'm going to ask, why are you here? But if you came to me and said, we don't have any pandemic problems, I'm going to say, you're still hired. Thank you. I don't want to.
Senior producer, you had your hand up. You can ask a question.
So go ahead.
Ankit, you had your hand up.
So what I wanted to know that, is the age a factor in US politics? I mean, in terms of presidents, because in India, when we appoint a leader, we always talk about the age as well. I'm not sure how it, whether it's a factor in US, especially the president elections. And also, where do you see a young guy as a president as compared to someone who is experienced and little old? What do you think about that?
Do you want to take that, Kimberly, or I'll answer it if you don't want to.
I'm going to defer to Jim right now because I'm going to work on a tech issue that we're having. But
Okay.
check on Bill for a second. But you go ahead and take it.
Well, I'm kind of shy, so I don't like the spotlight on me all the time. But
Oh, yeah, right.
but I will take a shot at answering this because it's a complicated question you ask, Ankit. There is ageism in America, and there should not be. This affects the average worker a great deal. It's not the quality of the work they do when they turn a certain age. And so this is a general problem in the United States. When it comes to electing our leaders, sometimes it's the dark money that counts and not their age. So, right now, I've heard a couple of people say on this show quite often, actually, that you want to elect the best people. Well, can you tell me that the choice of Biden and Trump is our best choice?
No.
They are best people? Give me a break. Biden didn't make my top 10 list for Democrats. I had at least 10 people, but he's acceptable to me. But I had a lot of people that I would have preferred, and most of them were younger. Actually, all of them were younger.
As a matter of fact, I believe Mickey Mouse is much younger than Joe Biden, and he's still a better choice than Donald Trump. Believe me.
But I actually think this pandemic is all the American people's fault. Because if you'd have let Trump build that wall, that pandemic would never have got over it.
But the wall had to be against China. It had to be two great walls of China, one on the outside, one on the inside.
You know what I have to say to people? Let's look at history. Where is every wall that was ever built in history, right?
Medieval
Piece of artwork. Tear down that wall. Who said that?
That was Reagan's shining moment.
So to add on that question, who was the oldest and the youngest U.S. president so far in the Democratic?
JFK was probably the youngest.
JFK was
Huh?
the youngest.
JFK was the youngest, I think.
And,
What was
The eldest, I'd say Reagan.
no, the before Kennedy, who was
George W. Bush?
Oh, Eisenhower, you mean?
Eisenhower? Eisenhower, I think, was the oldest.
Okay.
That's a
what was
good
the age,
historical survey.
What was the age when he was in office? What was the age when he was in office?
Well, he had been a general in the military in World War II, and he was older then. He was not a young soldier by any means. And so after he got out of the service, after he left the service and ran, that would have been what? Help me out here, guys. Mid-50s. I'm not sure if he was older than Reagan. Even I'm not sure.
It is. I think.
Oh, you guys are going to be surprised.
Reagan.
What about George Bush?
Trump.
Trump. It was Trump. He was 70 years old when he took office.
Trump.
Yeah, he is 74 now.
Yeah, he was the oldest president to ever take office is Donald Trump.
No, why I asked this question because I was reading about the elections, and then I'm not sure, but in Indian media and sources, that Biden and Trump are the oldest president candidates in the history of United States. Both of them are like 75 plus. That's what the article says.
Yeah, I think Trump is 74, but it's nickels and dimes here. It's a rounding error. And as far as I'm concerned, my bottom line is, are these the two best candidates? Are these the two best that we have? Absolutely not.
The youngest.
I had a much.
Well, Jim. I mean, is it the best ones or the best ones for our times?
Yeah, even for the best ones for our times, I would not pick either one of them. There are many candidates that I would have preferred. Many candidates I would have preferred. Andrew Yang, I would have preferred. Pardon me, Bill?
I said, okay, well, Yang has no experience.
Yeah, I know. But he's a man for the times. He understands what's happening to this country and why. That Trump has no clue, Biden doesn't really understand. Elizabeth Warren would have been better. Amy Klobuchar would have been better. Pete Buttigieg would have been better. I had a long list of people that I would have preferred to Biden. But Biden is what we got, and he's good enough for me. But I think he's past his prime. I really do.
What about Sanders? Because he always, tried to pitch in for elections and as a candidate, and then something happened, and then he had to step down. What
I know,
about that?
careful, Bernie. He's too old school for me.
Bernie's in the
But
same
still, I think
category.
the first 3 elections he was a presidential candidate, and then he had to step out.
Bernie isn't yesterday's man as well.
But he had a good speech yesterday, though.
Yeah, he's a great.
Bernie's a great speaker, but I just think he's too old school for us. We need somebody with a little bit more modern bendability and flexibility.
How many laws did Bernie get passed in all the time he was in the Senate?
I don't think he did anything, did he?
Hardly any.
Biden did. That's
Klobuchar passed 100 laws when she was a senator, 10 times the amount that Bernie. So look.
Yeah,
another question for the panel is that what would be if Biden will be the president in January 2021? Who will be the cabinet? I mean, who will be the people who will be the office?
We don't know.
He question.
And
That's
when we talk about elections in India, we always talk about the closed core team who work for the country. So it's not just Biden. Biden is the front runner and the leader, but there are a lot of people who support Biden. And also, I'm not sure, but I think chief secretary or chief of staff is also one of the top posts in US.
So there's a lot of people and we have to think about that too. Who's going to be the cabinet and who's going to be the worker bees? Because the president to me is our spokesperson and just a man who can hit that button.
Well, where are the worker bees in the Trump administration? He's let them all go.
Well, he hasn't replaced them. He fired everybody.
There's nobody doing any work. And the people that he did hire either quit or were in jail or got pardoned.
And Haley
surrounded himself with crooks and cheaters and liars. So what do you think he is?
Right. And I always liked Giuliani, but he put Giuliani appointed him into a science advisor position. So I've always been kind of leery about that. I like Giuliani.
That was absurd. Giuliani as a mayor was great.
Right.
He did a great job as a mayor 20 years ago.
Right. But he was definitely not. But why are you putting these certain people in positions?
Did Cuomo got a chance to speak on the
yes.
Bill, can you share with us? Let's see if Bill can share with us what happened with the convention last night.
I've been winging it, Bill.
Okay. Listen, I've missed all of you, and I certainly apologize.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Okay. I think to put it in context, we have to begin this way. The challenge for this week for the Biden campaign is to humanize and get people to know Joe Biden. That is to say that everybody knows of Joe, but nobody knows Joe. And so that's the storyline for the week. Now, my impressions from last evening and what I thought they did as they went through the process. Overall, I thought it was very effective. I thought that if you didn't see, there was a distinct emphasis on social unrest and what's going on in our country. Now, there are two different levels to this in this regard. They were trying to send a political message that the Democratic Party is a big tent. And I thought they did that effectively, from the opening with the children singing the anthem from across the United States to the individual Americans telling their stories from, at least as I counted, 15 or 16 different states. But the themes that they ran through over and over again were a focus on the middle class, almost like a laser focus, and middle America, and the working class, and bringing everybody together. I was actually surprised. I didn't think that they would do it so soon. But as we discussed last week, the whole issue of the post office, they did that, and they did that quite effectively. And they did exactly what we discussed on our last panel when they talked about the medicine, the checks, the senior citizens, and it was quite effective. I thought the high points were the rollouts of the Republicans, because it seemed to me at that point, what we should take from that is that they realized that although the rest of the program was focusing on the base, which were people of color, African men and women, and the uplifting stories in the middle class and the the forgotten man. They were also reaching out at that point, at this early stage, to the independents and essentially using the Republicans to say, hey, listen, if you're a disaffected Republican, you have a home here with us because we're putting America first. And so I thought that was quite effective. Now, I'll leave it open to the rest of the crew. I mean, there are some specifics, but I know this is Celebrity Tuesday. And so I did want to point out the one thing that I thought was a disappointment. And I don't want to offend anybody out there, but I didn't think Eva Longoria was quite effective as an MC. And I didn't quite get that. So what were your thoughts on Eva Longoria?
Okay, I'll chime in here with two observations and an answer to your question, Bill. Yeah, Desperate Housewives Starr is not the message I would have sent. I think there were better choices, and I wouldn't say she was terrible or bad even, but she was not would not have been my first choice or in probably the top 10. If you wanted to go with the Latinx or Latina spokesperson to manage that. The other thing I wanted to mention, which I forgot to mention when I was keeping your seat warm, was that Representative Jim Claiborne of South Carolina did a wonderful speech. And one of the things he said was, Joe Biden knows us and we know Joe Biden. And I thought that was very powerful. And that guy single-handedly turned the Democratic primaries around by making a forceful endorsement of Biden in South Carolina, and the performance of Joe Biden in South Carolina carried him to the ticket, in my opinion.
You know, Jim, actually, on that point, just as a personal anecdote, that wasn't Jim Clyburn used that exact language down in South Carolina, and I was down in South Carolina at the time. Well, at the time, working on the Biden campaign. And when Jim Clyburn came out and endorsed Biden just before that primary, it was quite effective. And I was at the rally that evening in South Carolina when everything was when the campaign turned around. And you're quite right. It was heartfelt, and it was personal, and more importantly, it was authentic. And
yes,
I would say that the theme because I don't necessarily want us to get into a discussion about personalities, because I think that's neither here nor there, but it was authentic in a way that you knew it was true. And on that point, there were points in the convention where they had regular Americans who had voted for Trump the first time, who then came back and talked about authenticity and talked about empathy and talked about caring and talked about Joe Biden as the leader for just that point. And so I thought that was quite effective through the convention. One other point I might make, and what our audience should know, is that, and we had discussed it on this panel before, so that's another reason people should continue to watch, and that is this. And we kind of joked about it the other day. We said, well, how's the election going to affect business? Well, we said, well, we don't know what Trump's plan is because he doesn't have one. And we kind of had an idea of Joe Biden's plan. And I think last night during the convention, they were quite specific in laying out, oh my God, today can't get any worse. Work at home. So they were quite effective in laying out Joe Biden's plan. Manufacturing, targeting, and all these other things. So I turn it back to the panel.
Do you not? He's gone to sort that out. Do you not think that what won Trump the last election was perhaps a bit of a celebrity, and he was in people's minds when they went to the polls? Whereas this time, what's going to lose him is his celebrity status has fallen apart around him, because the policies have never been high priority with him, have they? He'd never come out and said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It was always, I've done this, I've done that. It was always about him. So his celebrity status got him the presidency, but this time it could cost him because he's been more exposed and there's never been a focus on him like there has been over the last 4 years.
I think this. I mean, the old saying, the emperor has no clothes. And after 3.5 years with no policies and everything is shotgun, and Kimberly, you're right, and Jim, you're right. I mean, he's fired everybody else underneath him, and all the people in the top jobs He prefers to keep them as acting, so he fires the confirmed ones, illegally appoints the other ones, and so nobody has any stability. And I think one of the points that were made, both with the Democratic speakers and the Republican speakers, both the elected politicians as well as the regular Americans, they talk about chaos, and they talk about uncertainty, and they talk about fatigue, and they talk about trust. And what I thought was particularly poignant, for our viewers who didn't have the opportunity to see the show, there was a young woman from Arizona who talked about her father. And her father was a Trump supporter and voted for Trump. And she recalled the story how her father trusted Trump's words and actions during the this COVID pandemic. And that he followed the rules and he stayed at home. And then out in Arizona, when the stay-at-home orders were lifted, he went out to karaoke with a couple of his buddies. And then suddenly, because he trusted Trump when Trump said it's safe, go out and live. And within weeks, he was dead. And she said that his only, and it was a dramatic quote, his only pre-existing condition was that he trusted Trump. And that was just stunning to me. Stunning.
Wow. That's a hard hitter statement. Like, just unbelievable there to hear something like that. What is your thoughts on where the opening night kind of evolved? Did it kick off really well? Very exciting. I'm sure it was.
I actually think this, and I don't mean to be facetious about it. I mean, I've got a number of notes, and I want you to know I watched the convention twice because I'm a nerd. I don't mind being a nerd.
Don't feel bad. Walter Football watches every football game 4 times when he reports on it. So don't feel bad.
Talk about nerds.
Right,
Same as Indians. Same as Indians.
Well, actually, you know what I thought? Because part of me, and I'll share a little bit because I know we all do it, even if we don't admit it. But I will admit it because I'm not worried. Have you ever been up late at night, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's nothing on but infomercials? And then that product that you're like, never, never, never. And then you keep watching it over and over again. And you're like, oh my God, I think I might. And then all of a sudden you have an air fryer in your kitchen. I have an air fryer from 3 o'clock in the morning. But the point here is that paid commercial advertising works. Now, what occurred to me was that through the course of the convention, because this is brand new, unprecedented, it was essentially one big long programming. And as a program show, the question is, was it paid programming to sell you something, or was it informative? And I thought that it hit the right balance. It was paid programming, free programming, but I thought it hit the right balance. From the musical interludes, there was a couple of different video segments. They did one video segment when they were hitting the COVID portion. They hit 3 things: middle class, COVID, the economy, and they just poured salt in the wound with the Postal Service disaster. Now, with that, they had videos in between. After the segment where they had people talking about the impact of the COVID pandemic, they ran a video that was essentially an in memoriam set to music with the faces of all people that we've lost, with the number about 160,000. And then as the faces began moving into the screen, they made up a collage of a person wearing a face mask. I thought that was particularly effective. And the other thing that stood out with regard to their videos is that they were distinctly reaching out to the young vote. And so with looking at the convention on television in this new format, with that in mind, I thought it was a perfect mix. They had music, they had stories, they humanized, they had videos, and it was everything that was entirely digestible. And even the pre-recorded speeches worked well. And as they tried to splice them in with the live commentary, So as a performance production, I thought it was amazing. I really did. As a political advocacy tool, I thought it was effective in terms of the first step of what they have to do. They've got 4 days to reach the American people, and while you're right, Jim Clyburn says Joe knows us. They've got 4 days to on the national platform to explain to the American voter that Joe knows us and to convince them that Joe knows us. So I defer to the panel.
Well, I said earlier, Bill, I said that it's a vital campaign because we said earlier that Biden needs to show that he's not just better than Trump, he's good for the country. That was my line earlier. Because the danger is that you just show you're better than somebody. It's a dangerous ground, and he probably won't win an election saying, I'm better than him. I don't think that'll win Biden the election. I think what will win in the election is saying, I'm good for the country, because kind of taking Trump out of the equation, because there's no need to go at Trump no more. He's done it himself. So go concentrate on what's good, and I think that's the key for Biden.
You know, I'd like to point out one other thing, if I may, and then I will certainly listen. And that is this: is that what I found comical, and our audience should know, is that at the same time that the Democrats were rolling out this unified party and talking about the larger issues, and the things that I wrote down at the end of it was humanize, hope, and promise with a plan. At the same time, in stark contrast, and I just want to ask all of you if this occurred to you as well. The president was flying around the United States yesterday. Now, but he did not command the airwaves, not before the convention or after the convention. But essentially, the president of the United States was flying around. He was in Minnesota, he was in Wisconsin, and a couple of other places. And he was trolling the Democratic National Committee. Now, you got to find that funny, that the Democratic National Committee has, it has programmed wall-to-wall coverage across all of the networks. Millions of Americans are watching it with videos from various locations around the United States, at least 15 different states. And the President Trump is flying around, dropping in at airports, saying, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." I mean, you got to find that comical. I mean, you really do. Forget the politics. Don't mind me. Anybody else?
No, and I thank you so much for this update, because it's very healthy information about what's going on in the political environment and in this campaign that can be so bloody dirty. And I'm just so glad that what we're doing is we're talking about the healthy aspects of it and what good can come from this. And of course, we're going to be covering the Republican part as well as the Democratic.
Yes.
But that was a beautiful input about what's going on both sides of the tracks. I do want to do a new introduction to IBM TV. So first off, welcome everyone to IBM TV. You are watching Celebs Tuesday. I am your host, Kimberly Calhoun. To my left or right, I have Ankit Kandawal all the way from India. Good evening, Ankit. Then we have from San Francisco, Jim Eade, who is also the host of Chess Without Borders, which will be this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Our special guest is Paul Slagkus. He is of Good News, which that's what we like here at IBM TV. Good morning, Paul, and thank you for joining us. Paul has been... Hi, I'm going to let Paul share his story, but he's been in the media industry as long as I've been an engineer, guys. So he's got the experience, and you're going to love his story. Next to Paul is our Washington White House correspondent, Bill. Good morning, Bill. And he just gave us an update of our Democratic kickoff. And then next to him, we have Sasha, who is from Russia, but actually in Canada. And he is our host of one of our financial literacy investment shows on Wednesday, and of Chess Stars, which is a fabulous chess show. We've got several great chess shows, but it's about playing how to play chess and compete on also one of the games that he has developed, invented and developed. It is called chessstars.com. But what I'd like to do, we've got this great, wonderful IBM TV family that beams in from all over the world. We're doing a 15-minute live update every day, plus another show about the political campaign with Bill. But we have today with us Paul. And Paul, share with the IBM TV team and our global viewers who you are, where you're from, and what you do, and how you got there.
Okay, well, it's a big honor. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Well, I'm a nerd, and I say that because growing up, I read and loved Mad Magazine. And I always said, I don't know who everybody on here might know that magazine, but that magazine with political satire, life satire, and it just would show the uniqueness of man/woman. And so, I don't know, I always had an impression on me. I have been in the communications business, and I will say in a positive way. My mother had given me, she was a librarian at Temple Emmanuel and gave me the Reverend Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I always seem to like to gravitate to thinking that the world is a good place and people are kind and loving and caring. And my family had a shoe store in Tarrytown, New York. And however, I was a musician and decided I wanted show business instead of shoe business. I always said I couldn't spell. And I somehow got a job at CBS. This is back in 1972, television, and that started my career in media. I didn't want to become a professional musician and live that lifestyle, but I loved entertainment shows. So I was fortunate enough to work on a lot of phenomenal television, historic TV shows going back to All in the Family, Sonny Cher, Carol Burnett. In a capacity, television shows are big projects, as everybody on here knows. And in the networks, you have 50, 100 people working on a show. So my job in that case, I was assistant manager of Television City out in California, came back and did more shows here in New York. And then I went to public television, Channel 13, started Nature Series, Brain Series. So I got a chance to work on a lot of shows. And then I became the head of marketing and business manager of Channel 13. Then the head of marketing of the New York City station, which leased out their time to foreign broadcasters. They're the first PBS station here in America, and they made their money by renting airtime to foreign broadcasters. And my job was to bring in ethnic communities to rent out the airtime. What happened was I had all these 14 initial years of making TV shows. The Chinese said to me, the World Journal, the largest Chinese media group out of Taiwan, said, why don't you come and help us sell our advertising on our TV show and on our newspaper? And I kind of thought, 14 corporate years, I would go out on my own. And so I said, okay, I'll try, and I'll deal with the Asians in this scenario, because I'm being asked. When anybody asks me something, I say yes, usually. And I'll say, we'll give you an office. I had an office down in Chinatown. Now I decided to do multicultural marketing and advertising, full service. So I would do an ad in Chinese and print and television, blah, blah, blah. And then I built up an Asian, and I said, I'll do the Asians and the European, my family's Hungarian ancestry. And I started a business back in 1985. I opened up my own company. And did multicultural marketing. We did the Asians, then we graduated to the African American and the Latino Hispanic community. You had more agencies in it, and so I got to them a little later on, as well as the Middle Eastern communities. So what separated me is I did research, and that research became quite well known and got picked up in the media. And so that was a great run. And then, though, 22 years ago, I wanted to get back because I lost my big client, Sprint. But we also had IBM. And so I said, without a phone company or a bank, with Citibank, they stopped wanting to reach multicultural communities. So if you don't have those two clients, you can't make a living in that business. I'll go back to my television roots, and some young smart kids said to me, well, why don't you do it on the internet? Because I realized I couldn't afford $300,000 for a television license. And so I went to Network Solutions. I paid $70 for good news broadcast, which has always been my mission, to promote the good in the world, and .com. And so I now 22 years, 5,000 shows later, of people doing nice things, positive content. And we also, in the last 20 years, got involved with World Peace with our nonprofit. And we do the Peace Day concerts, and we'll have something virtually on September 21st, which is the International Day of Peace. So that's my shtick. That's my thing. And it's a big honor to be on here because I'm met Kimberly through my good buddy, Holmes Stoner, who I love dearly. And Holmes and I, 35 years ago, I will say, probably, because we're both a little nutty. And so I say that lovingly. And he's a musician also. He had the West Coast for multicultural. I had the East Coast. And we sort of like respected each other. We're probably the only white guys in the whole business. He would do his thing. I would do my thing. And that was it. And so we had a due respect of each other. And so it's a big honor to introduce me. Kimberly said, you got to meet her. And we talked last night, and he was right. All right.
Well, he told me the same about you, that I really needed to meet you because you are definitely the worldly experienced person in this area of industry, but you're very kind and your missions are very similar to what ours are. It's not just about being on TV, but also about the footprint that we can leave behind. And it's interesting to me because I didn't get this. I think I kind of heard a little bit of it last night, but that you kind of got your foothold, you started in PBS. And that's kind of the first place I started working with Nick Palaveda, was filming for PBS. So, it's a great place to start, but I have to say I learned a lot more when we branched out from there. But what has been the best part of all of this? What has been your favorite and most favorite part of all of this? Because you do good news. This is what I like about you.
Well, let me say that actually it was a CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, PBS. Okay, CBS.
CBS. Okay. And the reason only I'm bringing that up is because of CBS is money. Okay. Yes. CBS is business. Okay. And what we're in, it's great to make shows. That's fantastic. And now everybody can make a show, hey, I can go live to the world, and that's good to have a lot of opinions. But I learned early on it's show business, because if you don't make a business out of it and you can't get a sponsor to pay for your show, you're out of business. How are you going to feed your family? So that really was the bet. When I went to PBS, it was like going to college.
Yeah.
It was educational. They hugged me. They loved me. It was like a different deal. But CBS, get it done and get it done. If you don't get it done, bye-bye, Charlie. So it's a combination. So what I like the best is that I've been lucky guy. I've worked for bosses, I'll call them, who didn't act as bosses. They were secure in their own skin, their own being, in their own profession. They knew they were going to do more, and they didn't have to worry about this guy trying to not take their job, because that's stupid. What you want to do is just kind of work hard, be respected, hopefully help them become the president of the company. So right. I guess I learned, as I was always the president of my classes and everything, we're all in it together, and the more we're all in it together, the more we grow together. So that's that.
That's beautiful. Did you know Paul Franklin at CBS?
No, but I knew Joe Franklin.
Joe Franklin. Okay, so I worked with Paul Franklin for a little while. I met him at NAPTY. Were you ever a member of NAPTY?
I've been at all the NAPTY kinds of events. I was, NAPTY's doing some nice streaming. You should all watch their virtual shows now, because you can learn a lot from their programming. So it's NAPTY streaming, and you don't have to also be a member, because because they had the whole Middle East, some people from the Middle East last week. Let's see, no, that was the Advertising Club in New York. They're also doing great events, with the real people doing this business. Madison Avenue, people spending money, having the budgets, our Pizza Huts and whatever it is, and are the networks that are seriously in this business. So NAPTI's a great organization. It's a programming organization. NAB is more of the production technical side.
Yeah, NABs. Yep. So I've been to NAB. So when I first got into this industry, again, I'm an engineer for a very long time. And when I got into this industry, I did it more because I was curious about who we got to interview. Nick lined up some of the best interviews, and that kind of inspired me to stick around and do some of this. But I decided I had to learn about the industry. If I'm going to be in it, I need to understand it. And to me, the fastest way to do this is to go to some of the conventions. And so Nick and I went to NAPTI, and I went to the NABs to understand more about what I can do. Because at first it was a business for me, but not like I had my other business, right? So it was more of an add-on business for me to meet the right people, I wanted to build slow into this. But like you said, this has to be a business. You can't just make a show. You really need to be able to feed yourself with it. How hard is it to go out and get advertising? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, here's the situation. You have to have what the advertisers need. You have to have a broadcast that meets their budgetary concerns, their life concerns, their business concerns. So hard, I will say, we're not. I hardly pursue advertisers. Okay, I've actually waited a long time till our business built a gigantic audience. Two, we had an investor into our business, of which we are now have the potential we have half of a major $30 million investment, and so I'm looking for the other half, and so matching it, equity. Since I came from television networks, I know what it takes to really do this job right. Okay, Paul shouldn't be with one little camera on a computer right now. The lighting isn't exactly what I want. It's a profession, and people are very, 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 very fickle. Technically, if they don't see that you look like a professional TV show and you're looking like a cable show or so on and so forth, they turn you off. It's just, they're used to network quality. So talking about advertising, you don't get many shots at advertisers. I have 1,000 corporations maybe on Good News because I interview the head of marketing for you name the company. I've interviewed them. I've done 10 interviews for IBM with IBM because I've been on the circuit. There's a professional circuit I have 30 PR agencies that do the circuit. And that's for yourself. That's who you want to make friends with, the PR companies who are getting paid to professionally get it. So you get that sponsor. However, in that scenario, you're a PR outreach for them, and they're not going to pay you. Okay, even though, say, I'm doing Botox. I did the first Botox interview. Okay, I've done a lot of the first because I've never said no. That's how I 5,000. Okay. And I don't need to say no because one, they can't say anything bad. Botox can't say anything bad about Tylenol or whatever any comparable. I don't allow it. I have our stand, just like when I was at CBS. You have standards and practices. You maintain those standards. You put them down in your documentation, and you tell them my board will not allow this kind. You cannot say Donald Trump cannot say that Joe Biden stinks. Okay. You're off the air. I don't want you. You want to say I'm the greatest? Okay, knock yourself out. I'm happy to hear it. You can feel proud of yourself. I don't like any negativity.
That's me.
Not anybody else. So for me, that's how I've approached it. So I haven't really gone after sponsorships. One, I don't have a gigantic audience, but I have a good enough audience, and we're like PBS. You know, CBS gets a lot of views. Nobody watches PBS, all right? Very few people watch PBS, but it's a certain type of demographic. You have to understand the real demographics, the analytics of the business. So if you're a Mercedes-Benz and you believe that Channel 13 PBS can prove to you, so I got Movado watch for Channel 13. I'm good. I can get these guys. But you need to get something that they call it no waste. You need to know the advertising jingo, words. You know, they don't want to waste their money. Okay, so you got to prove to them that Movado is going to sell some watches. It's all about sales. There's nothing but sales. So you have to be prepared to give them what they need, and you need to think creatively. Now you're on. If you don't mind me talking, I'll talk.
No, go ahead.
Okay, you have your own station. Okay, you're in charge, right? So, and I used to be the president of a technology company that would have had around the screen. I couldn't sell it to YouTube. Tiles, okay, and on those tiles you could have put advertisers. Okay, they're starting to. Some of the things I've been involved with 20 years ago, they're doing now. All right, in any case, so you decide whether, and it's not really a matter of how much money you make. It's a matter of proof of concept, okay? So you might just get your local car dealer, okay, down in North Carolina or wherever you're broadcasting out of, to say something nice, a roll-in beforehand. You know, it's just, if you don't want to, make your show advertising every 2 seconds, which I think is terrible. You're making more of the European, you got an intermission, show 10 commercials at the beginning, at the end, the Channel 13 public television scroll, so on and so forth. Or put the actual product right into the show, put the car right in your show and drive it. Okay. I actually started general support announcements on PBS. I'm the one who helped to make advertising on public television because I was in charge of that at one point, along with Ruth Ann Burns. In any case, you just find out what is your uniqueness. You have a beautiful thing. I mean, I haven't studied your programming lineup, but I'm sure, you have the opportunity, but you don't want to take money in or take stuff in that's going to downgrade. Right. IBM says they want to be on there. We have IBM. Then it's a good handle because then you can go to Panasonic and you can go to, the big players.
Sony.
I don't know because hopefully I'm trying to give you some of my ups and downs of this whole scenario.
No, it's lovely what you're talking about, and product placement is something that we're really interested in doing. I kind of tested something one day because we do the Hollywood Squares, right? And we kind of been playing with this format for about 2 years now, practicing, and we went live in March. We did a show from last August called Walter Football. But product placement is something I've been playing with, and I tested it on our board of advisors one day when we had a Zoom call, and I put a Coca-Cola commercial in one of the squares, right, where it was just pouring a Coke, right, an icy Coke that was dripping on the sides, and the Coke was pouring. Just real quiet, no noise, right? We talked the whole time, got our business done. But kid you not, before the meeting was over, everybody goes, "Gotta go, Kim, gotta go get something to drink, gotta go." And I had an ad for food too. I think it was a McDonald's, somebody eating a burger, right? Everybody goes, "I gotta go get a hamburger. But it wasn't, I gotta go get something to eat. I gotta go get a burger. I gotta go get a Coke. So the mindset was amazing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great look. We have assets now. This
Right.
Zoom kind of not that. I mean, television has used it and uses it. MSNBC has the words on the side. They have the stock. Don't think the stock market's not paying MSNBC, or MSNBC is paying the stock market to put that. Remember, the stock market is a for-profit company. So these, I believe so. I believe to be true. So it's all business, the whole thing. My thought, in the old days, since I may be older than all you, I don't know, but in the old days, it used to be the Colgate Hour or the Texaco Music Hour, right? And so, if you have I think the Coke is good. I also have a movie that I just finished, Woodstock Forever, Peace, Love, and Hope. I have Coca-Cola in there. I have IBM. I have Microsoft. I have Verizon. But I have the message, just like you did with the pouring of the water. I mean, nobody has better. I mean, Coca-Cola has the greatest commercials that never talk about Coca-Cola until 3 seconds till the end. So it's fitting you want to have that kind of a respectful program. I think that's great. You should do that. And now you have to call up the Coca-Cola people. So now you have to decide so now if you want Coca-Cola, you have to decide how you're going to get the money out of Coca-Cola. All right. The real money is in the advertising, okay? The real money is that because Coca-Cola themselves doesn't want to get into the advertising. So they give it to, in their case, I think BBD&O, who's down there in Atlanta, okay? That's an advertising agency. They'll give them $200 million and say, spend it. They'll make a budget. They'll put certain into network television. I hope I'm just telling you probably all know this already. They'll put a certain amount in network television. They'll put a certain amount in print. They'll put a certain amount in digital, and so on and so forth. Digital had been the little piece. Now that's a little bit bigger than the other, than it was. It's still not the big money. The big money's on CBS and NBC. And so you need to understand the business. It's just like when television went to cable television, nobody left CBS to go work at MTV for $50 a week, okay? You got to grow with the industry. We're in a new industry-ish kind of a way. This Zoom, we're home kind of thing, and you just need to understand where is it, has it fit in, and where the revenues potential can come. And more importantly, if you really care about what you're doing, in my feeling, is the message. You want to the message of what you want to share with the world should be number one. And how to protect your message in a way that you can sleep at night, you can feel comfortable, you can have your friends, whatever is important to you, that's very important, because a message, as they teach you in school or in life, is very powerful. This is a very powerful thing. A newspaper can start a war. It started at World War I? Things can happen from a message. So, you want to make sure that you stick with the mission. I'm sure you have a mission statement, that you stay on that mission and work it or change it if you feel you need to. But important to, because it all becomes then trust. When the audience trusts you, then they stay with you because they know what they're going to get.
So IBM TV is smart TV, and we're about providing the power of positive thinking, which I was thrilled to hear you talk about that book. The power of positive thinking, that was our hashtag for Money Masters when we started the TV show. Our mission began to close that gap between poverty and sustainability, and we wanted to do it with financial literacy in an entertaining way, to inspire people to become more financially fit by, providing tips, skills through coffee shop style conversations. Because what happened is when I was started the TV show with Nick started Money Masters PBS, and I would attend several of the shows with him, interviewing these brilliant people who were successful. The best conversations were at lunch or at the coffee shop. And I'm like, okay, the interview was awesome, right? But this is better. Why aren't we having this conversation? But Nick and I, we found out, like you were talking about, that it was bleeding us. We were producing these shows. We were not getting paid. We were always being told, oh, change this, make sure you do this. You had to film precisely, 26 minutes and 42 seconds so that they can squeeze in the ads. And so it was bleeding us. And we had all of this great content. We interviewed delegates. We've interviewed, some of the world's most intelligent people. And we had a lot of exclusive interviews, people that have never interviewed with anyone before. And it was good content. but we were not gaining traction. Like you said, it's very hard to find that door that will support you. Paul Franklin from CBS approached us because he really liked us, but they kept wanting to change us, right?
Huh.
And so, but our mission has always changed, been the same, but we kind of pivoted. And I told Nick, I just don't want to work for the networks anymore. They're bleeding us. They make it very difficult for a lot of good content to get distributed. Let's see if we can start our own network. That would be great. And so, Nick, we were filming like you. We were doing, it's, I don't know what it was like for you filming the IBM interviews, but we were doing a mini series with IBM at the time. And we evolved this. And sometimes IBM will get behind people and sponsor them different ways. It's not always about money for us. It's about how we can collaborate with people to inspire what you're talking about. But what I want to do is change the subject a little bit and talk about your World Peace Day that's coming up.
Okay, so the United Nations International Day of Peace was declared in 1984. It got reinvigorated 2002 with a new resolution. And when I learned about it, actually, I learned about it around 2002 from Reverend Susanna Bastarrica, who was going to do an event in Central Park at the bandshell here in New York to commemorate. She was working at the UN, and to, in essence, do a entertainment show to let people know there's an International Day of Peace. And she asked me to be the host, and I was the host so I got involved with it, and was the host for, I don't know, 15 or so years. And we videotaped it, and we would broadcast it. So that would be that. But then about 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to do our own program as well. And I got Times Square. And so September 21st, I took over Father Duffy Square and did a live show for about 3 hours. Rented a stage, camera crew, satellite feed, the whole kind of thing, strengthening the message of world peace, because 193 countries raised their hands. We have all the flags, but our show and my belief and my thoughts, I never became an NGO. I want to be separate in our own way. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that I want somebody to say he's part of the UN and then turn us off. I'm really more of I'm part of everybody. And so, and we say that. We say whether you're like the UN, because in America, there's a lot of people that don't like the UN. So we just kind of stuck with our own belief that everybody, first of all, I don't believe in. I'm a John Lennonist. So I don't believe in countries and borders and boundaries, even though hug a planets here. But we also have the happy face. It's good to have a nice logo. And so, we have this event. So this year we're going to do it virtually. I have two concepts that I want to try to make happen, and I have to really get moving on it. We have other partners. We have people that are in the Isle of Man. So I had the 22nd anniversary. We did a comedy show, actually a COVID comedy show, Peace, Love, and Hope. Okay, that had due respect to the COVID concerns that we are all living in, and I'm in Manhattan, and so we've had a real challenge. And we're ringing the bell at 7 o'clock and blah, blah, blah. We did 120 hours live television. So I want to, on September 21st, I'm going to have a broadcast worldwide and mostly entertainment. To be frank, talking heads are, it's like me. It's boring. So, people can, it's like going to school. Who's a better teacher? The guy that does, or girl that does magic and teaches you something. My greatest teacher was a magician. He taught me how to type. He said, you type, learn fast how quickly to type. I'll do magic tricks. So I think that show business, if you want to educate in an entertaining way, put some show business. So we have content, we have singers, we have entertainers, Dionne Warwick, and then there's a whole bunch of peace people like Michael Douglas, Stevie Wonder, Shakira. So I put them all into the show, and that's our show.
Oh, that is beautiful. Dionne Warwick. I know one of her family members in Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Peace Day Party, and I want to throw a party. That's what I've been working on for the whole world to take this silly thing. And I had hoped to have enough money. I had asked some people in the Middle East to give me millions so I could get everybody with computers to go some places and blah blah blah. And now I also want to do something for our homeless. We have homeless here in Manhattan in 139 hotels in the neighborhood, and I have some concept where the day before I'd like to get 150 computers and have them go on, because there's Curtis Sliwa, he does the Guardian Angels. He said, how did they become homeless? Just one quick question to see if anybody wants to speak. And then I want to get Levi Strauss or some buddies to give them clothes and from head to toe and help while this hopefully a temporary time for everybody's concerns. So that would be what I want to do the day before. So that's what I'm up to.
Wow, that's huge
But I
project.
need help, and however you all think, wherever you are, if you can get your community involved, I think that's the greatest thing. Wherever you are, we can talk and think of a way, like a meeting with Nashville and at Los Angeles. Somebody, what it is, Margaret Mead. One person can change the whole scenario, and you guys, I'm sure, are all leaders. And if you can think of a way to involve your community in some way, I like the entertainment aspect, but I also can respect a mayor or a governor of your state or your country to say, what does peace mean to, you said Bangalore or wherever we're talking about, and then have some banging of the sticks, some Navratri. So whatever it is, peace-minded, because when you start to think what is peace, it's a big thing. Everything is sort of related to peace. Water is peace. Environment is peace. Domestic violence is peace. It's all. Wow, I'm talking a lot.
Yes, no, but domestic violence is one of my projects. It's one of my inventions is wearable devices for reducing the domestic recidivism, violence crimes, and pedophile recidivism crimes. But no, you've hit
something that would be good on a show. So that kind of a thing, if you wanted, if you wanted to bring it out, that to me is important. That's a real important invention.
It is very important. COVID's kind of slowed things down for everybody, but we are going to relaunch and get it going, but because it is very important. But what you're doing is wonderful. Hopefully we can collaborate with you. We are world news. We are a global network. We beam into every country. I get texts from Afghanistan. They're actually taking our content and putting it on their network. So, and I don't care that they don't ask us, because I'm kind of honored that they would like us that much, that they would say, wow, and they would go, are you this person? And I go, yeah. Then they would text me, go, wow, how did you get Dr. Tula from India on your show? And so these are guys in Afghanistan, and they know Dr. Tula in India. So we've got people from all over the world on our network, and it's all good news. It's all healthy news. What we tried to do from day one of COVID-19, when we saw that the world was locking down, because we already had a global board of advisors, and we were hearing this from everywhere, what was going on. What we tried to do was share with each other. This is what's going on in Australia. This is what's going on in the UK, in India, in Mexico. We've had people from all over the world. Italy. We had people beaming in from Italy, sharing with us the real stories, right? The real life stories. And what's been great about this is sometimes you'll have the doctors who are beaming in. We've got some really great doctors. They'll start talking on panels and they'll go, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. Oh, no, we haven't tried that. And somebody else will go, I'm going to try that. And they get back together and they talk about their experience. And that's what's been exciting about what we built. And I will be upfront and very honest. Nick and I have been very experienced on how to get on the show and talk and get people engaged to talk. But we weren't very experienced on where do we go with this. We know marketing. We're both business people, but there were a lot of things that we didn't know. And we're hoping that as we grow and expand, that we we meet people like you that can would be willing to work with us, and we will work with you. But we would love to air your World Peace Day.
Oh, great. All right, you got it. So,
I mean, I don't know where you were planning on airing it, but we're already
everywhere. When I did it in Times Square, I hired a satellite truck and I offered it to the world for, free. So I like free.
I like free. we like free.
I like free to get the message out.
Right.
And but in our message, if I got Coca-Cola to be one of our sponsors, I'm okay with the president of Coca-Cola getting up on stage or on a Zoom call and saying, because on our call, just like on your call, he or she is going to say something socially responsible, corporate responsibility. That's what they're going to say, because you are that. You are the message. And when you're the message, how could they do any other kind of message? They can't say, they can't say anything else. They're one of the biggest water companies in the world. So, you got to know your corporations. You got to, and if you're looking for money in your corporations, you got to go study them, and you got to go see what is their corporate social responsibility. If you're going to go in the PR way, and then you got to know who their competition is for advertising and marketing.
Exactly. And I mean, this has been a beautiful conversation. One of the things that we like to do is share these kind of stories to inspire people, but to also let them know there's a lot of work. It just doesn't beam up and happen, right? That there's a lot of money involved. I mean, you're talking that you're raising $30 million. I mean, that's a story in itself to talk about these raises and to reach out to the community that you could use some help. And also something that Holmes and I talked about was sometimes it's not money you need, maybe it's product you can use to offer to people. The homeless might need clothes or access to supplies for cleaning their clothes. That was something that a homeless person came up to me one time and asked me, "Can you help me go get my clothes clean?"
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So, or can you help me go into the grocery store and just buy a few provisions that I need? I don't mind doing that. I don't want to be homeless myself, but if I am, those are things that you would think of. But Paul, this is great and exciting. I'm excited about just celebrating this kind of day, right? Because we're doing good things. And
thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
The opportunity, and however I can, be of service to anybody, I would be honored. Thank you.
Well, and the thing is because, I know you've got things to do today, but you're more welcome to stay this is the Henning Morales. He is a Hollywood producer. I don't know if you two know each other, but Henning, this is Paul Slackus. He's been in the TV industry for a wonderful lifetime. He knows it inside and out and has worked with CBS and all the great networks out there. He's got World Peace Day. That he is September 21st. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay, because somebody gave me the wrong date before I met you. So
every day should be a peace day.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we're celebrating and just trying to pull together resources to celebrate world peace and all the great things that we could do together. We have this little sign language on our network, so I don't know if you saw us all going like this, but we all. Unifying. This is us unifying, and we work together as one world.
Okay.
And of course, bringing peace, blessings and everything. Henning has a beautiful mission as well. Again, like I shared with you, we're all about inspiring the power of positive thinking. Henning Morales, I met him about a year and a half ago at a film festival, Sundance Film Festival, and he was introducing some of his great new what I call adult teen movies, but movies for teens, good quality. But his other mission is to help reduce teen suicides, which is a devastating, fatal ending stories, just like what we were talking about. Domestic violence can be devastating. But Henning, that's his outreach project. So Henning, welcome, and how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Kimberly. It's nice to see you all today. Nice to meet you, Paul, and Sasha, Jim. I have Michelle on also. Michelle is and Ankit, of course. Michelle is our business development person at basically our network, our platform that hosts all our movies. So I'm gonna basically go for the first little bit, and then she's gonna take over and talk all about the platform, if that's okay. And doing very well, Kimberly. Just getting ready to shoot Ann Hero. Finally, we've been talking about making this movie for 2 years, and we start. I did the final rewrite of the script over the weekend. And excuse me. And now we have shoot dates set for next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're gonna shoot this. It's gonna be beautiful and wonderful, and it's gonna help a lot of kids. It's gonna help a lot of people, a lot of families. It's gonna help with this unfortunate thing that exists, which is teen suicide.
You know, it's sad that a teen would get to a point in their life that they just feel like there's nothing left to go to. And you and I shared you a story of a young man during COVID-19, a very young person that was too young to have done this. And I think, you know, the impact of it is just, it's unspeakable. Really, it is. It's probably as tough of a subject to broach as domestic violence. But Michelle, I was going to get to Michelle, but I'm glad that you introduced her. So, you know, because you can't do this without Paul, you leaving?
I'm sorry. I have to. I have a eye thing I got to do.
Yeah, I know. So, but we appreciate that you come back.
I just wanted to say, so because we did the International Day of Peace 2 years in San Where are you in California?
Los Angeles, yeah.
Okay, so we did it actually Los Angeles is the original location in 1984 for the International Day of Peace. The original people who took that message from the United Nations and did something about it. And I remember Ed Begley being out there at the Coliseum downtown. And the guys who did it, I'll get back to you on who that is. But what I wanted to say, because LA is a great place, but we did the International Day of Peace at the Cesar Chavez Park in San Jose with an organization, and I don't know if she's still doing it, but I think you should reach out, or I'll have her reach out with you. Amanda's Network, it's called. And Amanda's Network, Amanda was a young girl who was abused on Facebook, okay, in the years ago when people just wanted, as we spoke, could say whatever they want. She was a lesbian girl, overweight Spanish girl, and she took her life, okay? And Amanda is the girl. And I think, no wonder her mom did beautiful. It's on my broadcast, Good News. You can go to goodnewsplanet.tv and see Amanda and hear that organization or whatever. But it's a great thing, and I'd love for you to be involved with our peace thing with some aspect of, and in fact, we're working with somebody out there. We could tighten in with some poverty thing, helping the homeless and so on. So
definitely, Paul, we'll connect. Kimberly will make the connection, and we'll help in any way we can, for sure.
Absolutely. I knew Henny and you would be a good matchup. I'm so glad that you could join us today, Paul, because I knew that you had a lot going on. But God bless you.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that you leave. We got control of this, right, Ankit?
Okay, you can get out of here.
Yeah, we can get you out of here. There you go.
She's got the power.
There you go. I just played Nick. So Henny, thank you so much. I wanted you two to meet because the missions are kind of uniquely the same, right? Humanity. And so definitely. I don't know if you know Paul, but he has been around a long time doing good.
We hadn't met before, but I look forward to the connection. And I really want to make sure that everybody who is around our tribe and around what we do, we keep things very positive. And this is a very, you said it, Kimberly, this is a very difficult subject, but we don't necessarily harp on the issue. If one kid in this country, or really anywhere, but let's just talk about the U.S., if one kid in this country is that depressed that they're considering that, then that's a problem. And it's obviously more than one, and it actually happens more than you may know or more than you may understand. But what we focus on is the causes and the related strategies that parents can take, that teachers can take, coaches, aunts, uncles, grandparents, older sisters, younger sisters, brothers, what have you. first of all, understand the signs. Understand the signs that are pretty common. In researching this, the signs are there, and the noticing, recognizing the signs is the first step, and then second of all is encouraging people to communicate, and that's what all of our films are about. They're about communication and expressing yourself in whatever that means for you, and that's what our film series is about, Kimberly. That's what our books are about. That's what our lectures are about. It's about they're about communication and effective communication with other people and with yourself to take the proper actions that are going to bring you happiness, which is what we're all after. So I'm happy that this movie is a short film that is going to be about 20 minutes long, and it's not what you think it's going to be. That's the only real real explanation or description I could give it. Is it's not what you think it's going to be. It's going to be something very different from what you would think a suicide prevention film is about. And it focuses on the communication between the friends. It focuses on the dialogue and the interaction and the teen drama that is taking place in all of our lives as teenagers, and how we deal with it. And the adventure is a very different adventure than you would think. So I'm very happy to do it. This is something that, as I said, we've been planning to do for 2 years now. I wrote the script 2 years ago, and we've just been waiting for the right time. And we have the right time. We have the right actors. And this is going to be a very special movie. It's going to be fun for people to watch. It's positive. It's happy. You're going to cry a couple times before it's all said and done. You will cry. I hate to tell you, but it is going to be something that will be helpful, and it will get people thinking and talking about this issue. But I hope that the end result is that people are entertained first, and that when it brings up the attention to this issue, it is in the vein of preventing these things from happening versus just talking about the problem.
Henning, I've been told more than once in my lifetime that it was something kind I said, or just reaching out to someone at the right time, and I prevented them from, taking their lives, right? I've heard this, or, just reaching out to a young teen who was a troubled teen. I had a parent contact me and say, if you had not have reached out to our son at the time you did, we don't know what would have happened. I don't do these things like out of thought to do that. But here's my people. Why can't we just be nice to everybody, right? Just smile.
Here's the thing, and I know you deal with a lot of, I know that you're working with colleges and working within several communities and nonprofits, and you're around that world. So I think that is a very normal thing to happen. Your words, your positivity, your kindness will rub off on somebody else. And what I really try to emphasize more than anything else to my my friends and people who are around me and involved in our tribe is you never know what you're going to say to somebody that could make their day. You never know if you could make a difference in somebody's life, and you never know that you did it until somebody's going to come back to you later and tell you, hey, you helped me out. And a lot of times you won't even get that communication. So if we all have that desire, that attitude, then then we'll be more conscious about the things we tell other people. If it's just a kind word, my writing partner, Dr. Suzette Fabre-Har, she says, compliment somebody. Say they're wearing a pair of shoes. Nice. I'm talking about kids, teenagers, right? They need it because it's an awkward time for all of us at that age. They have a nice pair of shoes on. Hey, nice shoes. Where'd you get them? And then they look down. So, yeah, they are nice shoes. Right? Somebody said something nice to me. It might have been days since the last time someone said anything nice to them, right? So a compliment, a kind word. It doesn't even have to be a gesture. It just being a smile could be a thing. I'm going to tell you guys something. I know you have a question for me. I had a crush when I was going through I was depressed as a teenager. Okay. I was depressed as a teenager. And if it were today's day and age, then I probably would have been on the verge of being a suicidal kid as a 15, 16-year-old kid, because in my mind, my life was over. And this main character and hero is loosely based on myself, and it's based on actually something that did happen to me back then. You'll see all about it. But at that time in my life, I had a crush. When I was 16 years old, I had a crush on my hairdresser, right? And her name was Nicole, and she was so beautiful. It was like, man, and it cost like $35 to get a haircut at that place, right? And you could get a haircut, at Bob's Barbershop for $5 back then, right? But I saved my money just so I could go in. I had long flowing, hair, so did she. She looked like, she had that big, like Farrah Fawcett, like that's how beautiful she was, right? And had that big hair, and she was, I never thought that anything was going to happen between her and myself. Maybe I did, but she was nice to me. Yeah. I'll never forget her because she smiled at me and she was nice to me and she talked to me like a regular person. And I would save my money just so I could get that haircut every few months and go talk to Nicole at Hair Master West. Hey, if you're out there, you changed my life. And she never, here's the thing, right? It sounds trite, but here's the thing. She will never know. She will never know that she made my day. I had something to look forward to, even though I was depressed. And that's where our actions come in. So with these films, I would hope that somebody would see this film and go, okay, smile a little bit, laugh, and just make their day while we're addressing the issue. So Nicole, if you're out there, give me a call.
Let's give Nicole a good hand. You know what? People don't know that. I say this all the time. The hairdresser is the best therapist. I don't know what it is about a good hairdresser, especially the ones you pay a lot of money to. But I always say, don't subpoena the priest or the psychiatrist. Subpoena the hairdresser.
It's amazing because you just don't know. And this is where, the filmmaking business, I love this world, the storytelling world, because you can tell a story and kids will respond because kids are looking for heroes. We all are. We're looking for people to look up to. We're looking for, the next Indiana Jones or Luke Skywalker or, Princess Leia, whatever, right? Female, male. We're all looking for a hero. And if you show something on film that is attractive, where people would want to be like that person, they're going to listen to what that person says, and maybe those words could change their lives. And that is really where we're coming from with these movies. We only want to make movies that are inspirational, motivational, transformational. This film is so important. Maybe you can see how excited I am to be making this movie. We did our rehearsals on Saturday, our table read, we call it, where everyone just basically pulls a script out and they go through their lines. We got this great cast. They're all into it. They get along. There's this synergy. And I think this is going to be the one that is really going to be for the festivals. And this is the one that's going to give us notoriety around the world for not only for the talent of these great young actors, the message and the quality that they're going to bring in these performances. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I'm excited because this is something that we can actually finish in September and show in September. This is something that's going to come up fast. We don't have to wait. Like with a feature film, it takes like a year and a half to get it to where you're going, right? This we can make quickly. That's why I want to do a short film, make it quickly, get it out, and then encourage people to reach out to the people who are suicidal, to reach out to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Even if you're not suicidal, if you're having any type of dark thoughts, dark fears, we all have them. And we can talk about, I'd like to talk about that in a second, but really the idea is to reach out and just talk to somebody. And it doesn't have to be the Suicide Lifeline. It can be whoever it is, right? But those phone lines and those chat rooms are important because it's confidential and it's anonymous. And that's a big part of the problem of kids reaching out. I remember when I was 16, I don't want to tell anybody about how depressed I was. I didn't tell anyone because I was so embarrassed, right? And they were probably send me to a psychologist. They probably send me to a special place. I don't want to go to the rubber room. I don't want to wear a straitjacket. I'm not telling anybody about what's going on. That's my thinking, right? That's how a teenager thinks. You got to understand. It's a limited. They have limited reference points, right? You can bring a positive example and say, hey, it's okay to speak out. No one's going to chastise you. No one's going to send you away. No one's going to think you're strange. Well, you are strange. We're all strange. So that's what I tell my kids. That X says, he says, Dad, I'm pretty strange, right? I says, I'm stranger than you. Trust me. we're all weird, right? We're all weird and different.
We're all unique. We're all
it's
unique.
all about being unique. That's what it's about. It's about unique, but celebrating the uniqueness. That's one of the things that I've been pumping lately is the fact that here on the network, we're all about unity and things of that nature. So we're definitely part of the unity vibe, but we also want to celebrate our diversity. So definitely have to have that kind of tie where you're both wanting to be unified, but also celebrate the differences. Because I know that Ankit is very proud of his Indian heritage in terms of being from India. I'm definitely proud of my African American heritage, but also some of the Native American background and things along those lines. So definitely we have to have that balance and act. So things are definitely true. Kim, it's not just the hairdresser, by the way, that you have to have those powerful conversations with. I know that I love going to, and I need to go see him very soon, but I love going to see my barber. He's a Muslim American Muslim, and definitely he has some great conversations when I go to visit him. I mean, there's no telling who may drop in, and we'll just get into a dialogue when we're there. So it's not just the hairdressers that the ladies are used to and everything, but it's also the barbershop kind of dialogue that many of us guys also enjoy. So that barbershop dialogue can be real fun, and we definitely enjoy being engaged in that conversation. So definitely that's always a great thing that goes on with that. By the way, I was enjoying the conversation with Paul also, and enjoying the conversation that Paul was having, and I was learning a lot and reflecting on a lot, because actually I had heard about the World Peace Day. I think there's a Lebanese rock group that is performing, and that may be the same event that Paul is part of. I put that in the chat, but I don't know that anybody responded. And speaking of the chats, I saw that J.H. Kim was on. She is a friend of mine. She's a friend from California, where you are, Henning, and everything, but she's a definite activist in the community, an educator, and all of that. And we've become more recent friends and have got to know each other. But she was definitely enjoying the conversation, putting some very powerful words about how important a message it is to talk about teen suicide. So she was already learning about the film and was very engaged. As a matter of fact, she mentioned a book that she was a big fan of. And I don't know if you know this book, Henning, but it's called How to Hug a Porcupine. And it's apparently a book about dealing with toxic and difficult to love personality. So she put that out there as something that if you're not familiar with the book, you might want to learn about that particular book. So definitely she did that. And then the last things I was going to bring up and everything is I know that Kim likes it when I bring on the powerful messages of any sort. So I've definitely got one of my bands on this time and everything. And this is a message that everybody should know about the rights of women and the things of that nature. You can't really see it because it's a light blue thing, but the message is only yes, and that's in very capital words, means yes. So definitely it's that message that if somebody tells you no, that means that it's definitely a no, and you don't need to be trying to force yourself on those folks. So things of that along those lines. The message of this band is that only yes means yes, and don't be trying to twist that message, because sometimes particularly our teenagers will try to twist that message and try to still force themselves in a very negative way. So I think that that's a message that needs to go out there that and give respect to the women of the world, particularly which is suffrage month. So I'm here to wrap that up and stop that conversation, but just share those messages.
You're jumping back and forth. So let's your mic is not working.
The mic isn't working? Good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna so fix that because it's kind of bumping. But let's talk about the positive messages that we're trying to give to people, but also give the children, the teenagers, right, Henning, the confidence to know when to cut certain people out of your life, which is the hardest part. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, it's all connected. It's all connected, and cutting people out is the laws of association is so important, are so important for teenagers, for all of us, who you hang around with, moving towards certain people and moving away from certain other people. It's interesting that you mentioned cutting people out, because in Hit or Twist, Bella, who's our hero throughout the movies, she's our strong woman character. There's a lot of strong women characters, but she's like the main character, one character that goes through all the movies. You saw her in Destinova. You saw her in, there's another strong female character, but she's a gangster, so she doesn't count. So Bella says to Tiago, you need to behave this, and this way with me. Otherwise, I got to cut you out. And I don't want to do that. She says it right straight out, and he switches gears. So the laws of association, absolutely. But again, everything's connected to everything else. You hear me say that a lot. There's only one right answer to these questions, right? Should I go this way or that way? There's only one answer, right? That is the right answer for happiness. Okay, right answer. And you may not get there right away. It may take you a while to get to that answer, but in the end, there's only one answer. And the audience is like, it's obvious what the answer is. Go left, don't make a right turn. And that's where you get the audience involved in the process, right? The audience is ahead of the game. They know, because they know more about what's going on. So they're cheering you to go this way versus the other way. But the characters have to figure it out. There's only one way to treat women. There's only, Mark mentions the blue band. It's not a gray area. That's only one way. But to get there, you might have to learn your lesson to get there. But the decision is always the one decision. There's only one way to approach a decision where you're going to get in trouble, or another decision where you're not going to get in trouble. There's only one answer, right? The guy sees the bridge, the bridge. He can jump off the bridge or not jump off the bridge. It's not a gray area. The jumping off the bridge is a bad idea, no matter how, unless it's a little brook, right? Right. But there's only one right answer, is what I'm trying to say. And with the laws of association, if somebody is impacting your life in a positive way, then you increase association. If somebody is impacting your life in a negative way, you limit association. And if somebody's affecting your life in a dangerous way, you cut association completely and you move on. And there's no other way to do it. So I think Ankit wants to show you the Rebelistic trailer. This is we're switching gears here. But again, all of these movies it's the same. The communication that's required for a teenager who is in a suicidal state, it's the same communication that we need to encourage for other areas for their life development. So it's all together. Rebelistic is really about the three friends. And it's been called, and Michelle is going to take over here in a second. She'll describe a little bit more. It's been called intense by Michelle. That's her word for it. It's intense. It's gripping. It's interesting. It keeps you there with these characters. And I think this trailer is really fantastic, and it'll give you a sense of the movie. And we encourage you to go watch the movie. Michelle will tell you how to watch it, how to get it. It's out now. So let's just maybe show it, Ankit. That'll be great. And then I'll jump off and let you guys carry on.
All righty.
Decisions.
Same prestigious career level on the juvenile delinquency ladder of success.
Tell me it wasn't you.
got interested in that. Go get a real job. This is my job.
No wonder organized crime is starting to infiltrate this once quiet suburb.
I'm sorry. Things got sketchy. We'll get him. You always get him, eventually.
To the snake pit. Dirt merchant.
Wow. And it's that shooting scene that just always makes me jump out of my seat. I know I've seen it time and again. Now I anticipate, like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, that's so intense. The music, I think it's the music that just makes this movie, working with Drew Lane, that's got to be just way cool.
Well, it really is, and I'll leave on this note. We'll talk about the music here real quick. It's the music, but also it's our actors. Rebecca she brought it in that scene, and when you watch the movie, you really feel her fear. You feel her fear. She knows something's going to happen. It's bad. I shouldn't be here. I'm Bella. I'm like the Miss Perfect. Miss Perfect Girlfriend 1985, we call her, right? I'm not supposed to be here. She knows. And, you don't expect it. You don't expect the gunshot. And so it's the acting. As far as the music goes, we are so fortunate to work with 14 Platinum music producer Drew Lane. He is by far the most underrated music producer in the world. And he's our music director on all of our films. He's made more music than just about anybody I know that isn't like a household name. And he will be. He's somebody, he's so humble. He loves to make music. He wrote 2 songs. Well, we collaborated on one. He wrote another one specifically for Ann Hero. And he believes so strongly in this film. And it's primarily music. This movie's 80% music and 20% intense dialogue and another 20% action. So I guess that's 120%. One of the characters isn't very bright. He says, "Hey, yeah, you scored 50 out of 60 points in the game last night. That's like 99%. He didn't do the math. But it is such a pleasure to work with Drew. And yeah, the music makes it pop all the way through. Rebellistic has 20-something songs in it. Many original songs. Many of the songs have lyrics that go along with the dialogue and with the action that's taking place and with the storyline. So it's a very unique experience, Kimberly. I really here's my challenge to y'all. If you love it, if you love the message, love what you see, check out the movie and then share it. Let people know. We're about to get on a major marketing campaign, distribution campaign, and Michelle can tell you more about it. So I want to introduce her properly as I jump off, if that's okay. Can I introduce Michelle properly?
Introduce Michelle.
Okay. Michelle is a very fine person. She's also somebody who has helped on productions, whatever, as associate producer on our films. It's interesting because sometimes I'm so blind when I get on set, I don't even know who's there or what's what. Michelle, I'm looking when we're cutting this movie, like Michelle was on set with us like 10 different times, helping out. She's bringing this, getting that, organizing this. She even had the marker a couple times. Like, I didn't even know Michelle was there those days. Helps out in any way. And then now with this platform, she's been a champion of these movies. Now that the platform is launching, and she's the head of business development. She's an entrepreneur. She's a business coach. She's very successful in her own right and extremely humble. And she's a mentor. She loves the message And I can't think of anyone else better to be in charge of developing the business on this platform and getting these movies out to the public. So that said, Michelle Wilson, I'll turn the floor over to you, and I will drop the mic. Thanks, guys.
Have a good day. Hello, Michelle.
Thanks, honey.
So share with us who you are.
Hey, Kimberly.
Where you're from, and what you do. Michelle, you look beautiful. I see you on Wednesday nights. You look gorgeous. Always. Always. So share with us
Thank
a
you
little
so
bit
much,
more.
and it's truly an honor to be here. Can you hear? Yes. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for having me. And I see you also, your shining face on our Wednesday nights. And, you know, as Henning said, you know, I just love the messages. I just remember being a teen, you know, actually I was a teen mom. So I kind of made those, you know, decisions that kind of impacted my life. So I love what Henning's doing with his storytelling through the films, through the music. And as Henning says, intense, that's how I kind of describe his movies sometimes, because with the music and just the story itself and the real life stories. And he talks about communication. So I'm excited about our new platform. And basically Dirt Merchant Films is, as Henning says, you know, they're doing all this filming, they're independent filmmakers, and they have these amazing films, but they found that, you know, just distribution was a little bit difficult. So they have actually are putting their films on a new platform called Rev Share Films. And that's what I get to talk about today. So Rev Share Films is just a platform for like independent filmmakers, music, content creators, and even empowerment speakers. You know, maybe they have courses online. And it's really kind of like an ecosystem where you put the content on our platform, and it's revenue share. So we have the person who's putting their information on the platform. Then we have influencers, because influencers, you know, they love talking about what they love, you know. So if it's music, they can talk about music and then refer the rev share film and the music. Then we have global marketers who are just looking for, you know, things to be able to market and earn an additional revenue stream. And then we also have our charities that we give a portion of it. So it's just really this ecosystem. I mean, we do it right now. We see a good movie, right? And we refer a friend. And unfortunately, we don't get any type of rev share from that, but now we do. And I think what's really unique about our platform, I don't know if you remember going into the movies and, you know, you have your friends and your family, you're engaging with them, but you're not really able to engage with the artists that are on film, like the actors and so forth. So with our platform, there's actually interaction. Like if there's a part of the movie that you really enjoy, you can actually send them a live message and say, hey, you know, I love this part of the movie. I love this song. And so there's actually some interaction in our platform. And that's really what our platform is all about, is just motivational content that transforms. And our market is really youth, you know, talking to youth. I'm a single mom. I have kids, and, you know, that peer pressure, right? So we have these films now that we can really, you know, share with our youth, and they can hear it from, you know, not from the parent or the mother, you know, point of view, but they can really see what teens are going through in a positive way.
So, you know, it's, you know, you bring up something about being a teen mom. My sisters were teen moms, and it's hard. It's a very lifelong struggle, but it's a commitment that you make. And you know, there's so many teen moms that people have no idea the challenges that they go through. I always tell people, you know, the guy got the inside of the job, right? A lot of times the girls kind of, and it's not like, you don't want to feel like you're left with any baggage, but you took on the responsibility. You chose not to walk away from the responsibility, and kudos to you for that. How old are your children now?
Well, my oldest is 38. So he's 38. Then my second is 31, and then I have a 16-year-old. So I'm a 2-year gap. I started young, I ended late. So, but you know, that's my biggest why, is just really being able to, you know, provide a life for my children, and that's why I love these messages that we are able to bring to the world, because a lot of messages out there in entertainment is not very positive these days.
No, it's not. I've had to turn off TV completely because it just turns me off. But like Jersey Shores, right? It inspired so much chip on the shoulder attitude, hate. I mean, there's not really a lot of good, healthy TV shows out there right now. Nothing that inspires kids to go out there and say, "Hey, I can become successful. Hey, I can go out there and help people and give forward." Not a lot of that. There's nothing that teaches us to eat healthy either. Think about it. Henning's doing that. But think about, I mean, you see these junk foods and, you know, that go out and drink a beer with your friends. That's not good for kids. You know, there's just so much junk food on the TV shows. It drives me crazy. Nobody knows how great it is to eat a watermelon or a mango, right? It's just, we need better, healthy, inspirational movies and shows.
And what we do is, you know, so right, yeah,
we lost.
Yeah, we lost it there. But even from the musical standpoint, can you hear me, Michelle? Because even from the musical standpoint, I was wondering about both you and Henning talked about that great soundtrack, and I've heard a couple of the musicians on there, and there is a great soundtrack. But I was wondering, is there any plans to release the soundtrack to the public so that folks can actually hear about this great music and learn about this great music and about this great artist that I know Henry was talking about? So is there a plan to release a soundtrack?
Well, you know, that is a great question. Right now, I know they're releasing it on the RevShare platform. But what's great about our independent artists, that they have the choice if they want to take it to another platform. So the first release is on our platform. We're really giving new artists a chance to share their music to the world, and they do have the option. We're not exclusive, you know, that all your content's got to be on our platform. They can actually share it, you know, so it's really the decision of the filmmaker. And I know Henning, you know, I don't know if that's what he's going to do in the near future, but we're really having it on the platform right now. But there's that option if like independent filmmakers or music artists come on our platform, they can release it.
And
that answer your question.
We have the business side of this and how people can get engaged and do business with RevShare, because you know we kind of talk about that, but how does that work? Kind of share with us a little bit how they can go out there. Where's the website? How do they benefit? Because it's all about when you share something, you get a little bit of revenue back. So share with us how that works.
Absolutely. You know, our website is RevShareFilms.com, but we have pretty much a collaborative relationship with you, Kimberly. You know, you're always having Henning on the show, which we really appreciate that. And you join us on our platform on Wednesday. So we like to say that you're like one of our collaborative partners, you know, like a referral partner. So really the best way, I know we're getting you set up, your network and the people that you work with referral link. And that's really the best way to get you all going. That you'll have a referral link, and you can share it with your viewers, especially, you know, on Tuesdays. I see this is Celebrity and we have Henning on, but that is really the best way. And you know, I'm actually going to be that bridge where I'm helping influencers, like connectors like yourself, collaborative partners, to help them, you know, get their RevShare link and really show you how to share it with your network.
Yeah,
so is the program for the global audience or only for the American people?
It's for actually, this is a global network, and we have an amazing, we have a partnership that we're actually using, that we're able to use kind of like the blockchain technology, so that we're able to converse with the different currencies. So it is a global platform.
Okay. And you will be broadcasting from your website, or you have some streaming player or some OTT platform where you would be watching? I mean, people can watch your movies.
Yes. What we like to do is, as you showed the trailer earlier, you are able to actually share the trailer. You have your link is connected to you. So when you actually, it's free to register to get on our network, and you have a referral link. And let's say you're watching a movie or you see a trailer. We have films, the Dirt Merchant films are on our network right now, and the music artists. So you can actually, if you see a trailer, you can actually share that link to someone and they can watch it for free. And if they like it, then they can actually register online to get their own membership account and download, actually, purchase the movie and download the movie. And they actually get the streaming right now. It's for 7 days. That actually, if there's a movie on there and they're watching it, they have 7 days to watch it. So that's really how the system works, is through your link.
So Michelle, if someone will download the
trailer.
Movie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes, I'm sorry, you kind of broke up, and I know it's my internet. Yeah. What did you say again?
So what I was saying is that basically, suppose I register as a customer based out of India, and then I download the movie, and then I stream that movie on some other media player. How will you stop people to because see, movie industry is suffering from about piracy and all those stuff. So how you make sure that you avoid those things, and then people will only come to watch the movie and they don't download and they don't use it for their own for their own sake of it.
Right. Yeah, the technology is and I'm not the technology person, but yeah, they're only able to stream it, and then after, like I said, after 7 days, but they're not able to download it into their system. There is security measures in place that they're not able to pirate, I guess you're saying, and that is definitely a concern. But that's what our technology is.
Because in India, what we are doing in India, that whenever there's a movie production coming up, they already have a partnership with the broadcasting company and the streaming people, and they have a tie-up that if the movie releases on day 1, they can start streaming the movie on day 20, and that's why they avoid all those piracies and all those stuff, and then people can watch those movies on different OTT platforms on day 20th of the movie. So that way they have the theater, business going on, and then post that people can watch on the OTT platform as well. So because piracy is one of the biggest factors or one of the biggest industry disruption in Bollywood in India.
Well, I would love to connect and just learn a little bit more
about both Kim and Michelle and everything, which is coming back to the business discussion, which is, if there is somebody that is an influencer, how would they get involved in sharing their film or sharing the film as an influencer? Like I said, whether that's through our platform of IBM.TV or through RevShare. Like I mentioned earlier, JH Kim is a friend of mine. She lives there in California. I consider her an influencer. There are a number of other folks that pop in regularly, Ron Thomas in Dubai, that are definitely influencers. So how would an influencer become engaged in this process?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. And I always like to say we like to honor the relationship, right? So like your friend, JH, right? I know we kind of met last week. And so I'll reach out to you and help you get started to get your referral link. And then I'm going to share with you how you can share that link with your friends. So that's really, it's an invite only platform right now. So really, I just met you. Hey, I'm going to get you started and show you how to be able to refer out. So even, your viewers, Kimberly, connect with Kimberly and her team. And then, we're here to support and help you to, get on the network and so forth, because it is invite only.
Okay, that sounds like a great concept and everything. Could you talk to us a little bit about your own business background? Because I know that Henning mentioned that you were a business person and things of that nature. So I'm sure folks would like to know, just like we learned about Henning and his creative side, we'd like to learn a little bit about your business background.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's kind of funny because I'm not an entertainer whatsoever. I remember, well, actually growing up, as I said, I was a teen mom, but really I wanted to be a professional dancer. But when, I had to take care of my family, I went into business. So I really focus on working with solopreneurs. And actually when like COVID-19 happened and we became more homebound, I'm really working with my clients on getting their business online, and working with strategies. Like I work with authors, empowerment speakers. I love championing people and their stories and so forth. So how do they create their personal brand, and how to use digital marketing, the different platforms, and really creating strategy, complete kind of overview vision, and then giving them kind of like a blueprint on what they need to do so they can execute it. So I really believe in clarity. With clarity becomes focus, and then results. So I kind of take them down this process through coaching. So that's what I do.
Wow. And I know coaching is very important. I had a couple of coaches on our show that I do for IBM.TV yesterday, and they were talking about just the nature of coaching and how that is such a vital part of what's going on in this era. So I was just wondering if you could share with us a little bit about your philosophy of coaching and your philosophy of being a business coach as well.
I kind of marry the two, business coaching and kind of consulting, because really in business, you can have all your goals set, you can have, your plan, your business plan, but it's a lot of has to do with mindset. And really, I know for me, when I became a solopreneur, I've been a solopreneur before all my life, but there, through life changes and transition, you think you're doing one thing and then changing to do something else. You have to go through this mind change. And so through that, I really believe in now is just really getting connected with your heart. So when I'm working with solopreneurs, especially because you are your business, I hit burned out about 3 years ago because I created this business that I really didn't enjoy. So I really like to talk about, what does success mean to you? What do you want your life to look like 5 years now? So I really start with vision and the type of lifestyle they want 5 or 3, 4, 5 years from now, and then work backwards. And then we talk about, identifying some of your gifts and talents, and then how can we monetize those gifts and talents? And then we create the business around that. So that's kind of my philosophy.
Makes a lot of sense. I know I was watching a friend was doing a show very similar to this and everything, and they were talking about with a young lady, I think out in California, that talks about the side hustle and being a side hustle entrepreneur. So I think we're seeing more and more folks that are trying to do that because of what's going on with COVID, that they're developing their business plans. So definitely sounds like you've done a number of those kind of businesses, and it sounds like Henning's very glad to have you as part of his team. So how did you make that connection to Henning? How did y'all get to meet each other, and what brought you into it from the business standpoint?
It's kind of funny you say a side hustle, because I've been side hustling ever since I was 17. I had a job, and then I had 2 or 3 part-time jobs because I was a single mom, earned that income. So it's kind of became my nature, right? So how I met Henning, it's kind of interesting. I was a crypto blockchain fanatic, and so like 3 businesses ago, startup companies, I was working with a team, and this is a team of amazing people. So through this journey, a couple of the businesses did not quite make it, but I was able to connect with Henny through that. And then we have Lynn here. So one of the ventures I'm with is the dollar stores. So that's one of the ventures. I'm a marketer. I love business. I love championing businesses. So it's really through different relationships and, past businesses. So that's kind of how I met Henny. And as I said, I never thought I would be in entertainment. And when I first started with the tribe, it was really about, marketing and just, getting the word out. But as we were going along, I saw that I can, with my strategies and business development, I brought a piece in to just really bring some systems in place to help us, scale out a little bit quicker. So I just love working with the group of people here.
Make a big deal having it's a big difference having that right team, and what you're offering is a fabulous team effort, because now that you've got that going, you can tell it's gaining traction, right? And it's going to grow and become this great business. When I met Henning, he's really put a lot of effort into this. Sometimes you have to pivot. And so I've kind of watched him pivot since the film festival in, I think, 2019, when I met him in the early part of 2019. You're right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of wrap. But what I want you to do again, Michelle, is to tell people how people can get involved with RevShare. And then we're going to talk about the dollar store. You're welcome to stay. We've got some great things with the dollar store. They are donating all of what we generate in revenue 100% from now until the end of September to our cause to close the gap between poverty and sustainability financial programs. So we have a lot of financial programs and they're funding those, but majority of them, they're catered towards inspiring people to become financially fit, because we found that financial literacy is the big reason why there's such a huge gap. And that's very important to close that. And we're also offering programming to the underserved communities, right? To people who couldn't get access to distribute their great content. We've got great content, but they just didn't have a link to access that to. And now we offer that. And we offer viewing. We don't charge for viewing, but let's kind of share with people how they can get involved to potentially earn some income. Also, I invite you to join our dollar store. It's easy to go to ibm.tv and click on the green button. When you register, you'll get $5 as shopping points. It's the dollar store online, so it saves you money. It's good quality products, but inexpensive. And when you spend $25, it's free shipping. And I don't know about you, but at the dollar store, I can get a lot of stuff. So, it's a lot of stuff. So, but go ahead and share with us, and then we'll move to Henny, to Lynn.
I just have to share one story real quick. Actually, Lynn, I purchased some things off the dollar store today. I have the eyeliner. I mean, it's about the same as my, the one I bought from, one of those high-end stores, and I use the dollar store. I'm like, this thing works the same. So I'm like really excited. I think I'm going to buy some more makeup from the dollar store. So I love the dollar store. But in closing, really go to RevShareFilms.com, and you can we'll create a code, the IBMTV code, and you can put that as the referral code, and then that's the way you can get started. There's actually a media button that you click, and then you just register. So that's what we'll do to make it very easy for you.
So we'll have to get the code, and then we'll program it on our website so people will know to use that code. And thank you for shopping at the dollar store. You're right. The collagen mask is the same one I paid $25 for at the counter, and it's $2 at the dollar store. It's the same mask. It's kind of crazy.
It is. I mean, I buy the little things here and there, and I'm like, this is the same. It's the same. So it's pretty amazing. So thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. We're going to look forward to seeing you and Henning again to talk about how you're growing, because that's what we're about, is inspiring all of these great, wonderful things, especially during a hard time, right? So we'll look forward to seeing you again, Michelle. Thank you.
So I have to say before, she got off. That's too bad. Bring her back a second.
I can bring her back. There she is. Go ahead. Ask Lynn.
I was just going to say to Michelle, I've known Michelle for over a year, probably a year and a half, and she's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I'm not only have I known her, but I've met her several times. And I have to honestly say that Michelle, you must have had your first child when you were 5 years old, because if you meet Michelle and you look at her, there's no way she has a 38-year-old kid.
She looks so young. I know.
Michelle's
I
wonderful.
always say I had her. I said by immaculate conception. That's what I always say when I'm
there you go.
Speaking. So thank you so much.
Very young, but
there you go.
It's those good genes. Folks who got those good genes know about that and everything. So I'm thinking that you definitely have that youthful appearance. So I know about folks with those good genes. My dad is 80 and still very vibrant. So definitely I can see that you've got those amazing genes, and you don't look your age. Don't know what the age is, but whatever it is, you don't look it.
She's an amazing person. And IBM TV is lucky to have her come on and talk about RevShare Films, because she's a great advocate.
It's a great mutual relationship, because at IBM.TV, we are smart TV. That's what that's our tagline. We are smart TV. We're about introducing those smart ideas, innovating people to become smarter and do something. Don't just sit there and have that idea. Look at Michelle. She didn't sit around feeling sorry for herself, and she worked several jobs, just like I did. You get out there and you work jobs, and then you build yourself, and then you go, oh, that's a good idea. Do it. Don't just say, oh, that's right, Michelle? Right.
Yeah, and I failed so many times, but I fell and just got back up. That's the thing. It's like, it's okay to fail. It's okay, to make, I always say it's kind of okay to make a decision. If it's a wrong decision, just kind of make it right. I've made so many poor decisions, and that's why, I love RevShare, because they show that through wrong decisions, you can make them right. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's right. Michelle, real quick, I want you to meet our Washington correspondent before you leave. Bill, this is Michelle. She's from RevShare, working with Henny Morales. They're doing a new movie, and we were introducing. Bill is our resident IBM.TV correspondent in the White House. And we are doing daily positive, get this, positive campaign political talks. We're bringing out the positive ideas of everyone. We're not going to talk about the slander, he said, she said, pointing fingers. We're really focusing on the good things coming from both sides, because that's what you need to hear. And so, yay.
Yep.
Bill.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Michelle.
Yes, that's great to know. Pleasure to meet you. Yes, and I'm looking forward to really hearing that.
I was having one of those days where I just caught the tail end of your session. You just got to get back up. And so this morning, I've been getting back up.
Well, his internet, technically, he's been having hits, miss, but we all live that.
We all live that mess.
Yeah, see, Michelle's laughing. We all have that problem.
I wanted you to know I got back up.
I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle's going to have to dive out. Thank you, Michelle. We'll see you again.
Appreciate you, Michelle. Great having a conversation.
Sign up at revshare.films.com and get registered for a movie. If you need access link, you can contact us, but you can also use the IBM.TV code, which we will be posting on our website. But guys, unfortunately, it's that hour when we have to. I want to wrap up thanking Lynn Shepard for being our sponsor. Let's talk a little bit about the Family Dollar Store, Lynn, about some of the good things that you're doing.
I'll make it quick because I know we have to wrap up. And Bill, hi. Sorry I missed you earlier. Anyway, well, first of all, my name is Lynn Shepard. Our family owns an online dollar store, okay? And we have about 4,300 products plus. Mark knows about that because he's looked at 4,119 of them, I know. He got bogged down a little bit, but he's going to keep looking. We deliver right to your house, okay, for $25 or more of orders. We deliver for free. We have great products, lots of quality products, okay? And we sell them for a lot less than it's going to cost you to buy elsewhere. So why are we here? We're here because we love the mission of Money Masters PBS, which is to narrow the gap, as Kimberly said, between poverty and financial sustainability by providing financial education and creating financial fitness, which is something that everybody needs. And sort of as Michelle was talking about before she got off, something that everybody needs in this day and age. We're here to support Money Masters. Normally we give half of our profit to Money Masters, but through the end of September, it's 100%. We encourage everybody to go on the IBM TV site, click on the big round button, which is also green if you're not colorblind, but it's round so that if you are, you'll still find it. Become a customer, because by becoming a customer, you get $5 worth of gift tokens. They're like gift cards, and you get them right away. You don't even have to shop right away, but you have them for the first time you start shopping. And every time you shop, you get more gift tokens. But the important part is when you shop, you're supporting Money Masters PBS and the mission. Now, through the end of August, we're also giving you an extra $5 of gift tokens. So sign up and help Money Masters PBS, and you help yourself, because you get all these great products and they're a lot less expensive. And I'm not going to go into the products. I know there's going to be a special 24-hour program so that Mark can go through all 4,300 items one at a time. And
we need to get Bill registered. Bill, you need to go out and register, and then get your $5 and join the Order your Minion napkins so that you can become part of the Minion Napkin Club.
I absolutely will.
And look, they got minions on the back too. I know this is simple. It's like, oh God, Kim. But I mean, it's decorated on the back. I mean, so there's sometimes it's the simple things that make you smile. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, is kind of uplift people. Let's don't drag people down. Let's uplift people and share those good smiles, share a laugh. And everyone, thank you so much. Lynn, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a good supporter, because we know that there are 5 things. You want to say them?
Okay, the first thing is you're going to save money, okay? The second thing is it's going to help you, therefore pay your bills, which is very important. But when you have money left over, you're going to invest it, okay? And then you're going to have money. Make sure you save your money to pay your taxes, okay? But the bottom line is, and by the way, as Kimberly well knows, the IRS may come and get you if you don't pay your taxes, unfortunately. But then number 5 is you pay forward, because you're giving, and you can give to whatever your charity is that you want to support. But we want you to support Money Masters PBS, because I think there's no better mission than educating people on finances and giving them financial fitness so that for the rest of their lives, however long that may be, they can support themselves with however they want to do it, but they are financially fit to do it.
And thank you, Lynn. And one day Lynn's going to be on our Money Masters PBS show. We're going to be airing real soon. We're going to bring it alive again, because we've been asked by many people to bring Money Masters back. And Lynn will be one of our guests, because he has some great success stories, because that's what we're about. We're about the power of positive thinking and what it takes to get there. Because, by the way, people, when you see someone's success, you see them on the day they're celebrating their success. You don't realize all the work that they did to go there, to get there. And that journey is sometimes very long. It's not overnight, like everyone says.
Or as Michelle said, Kimberly, and I have to add this, or they learned from their failures.
That's right.
Because any successful person has always had failures.
And as I always say, education is very valuable. Experience is expensive. Very, very expensive, but other people's experience is priceless. And that's what we want to share with people, because it's those experiences that help guide you to where you need to be without having to pay for the same food, right? And it's so funny, because and I know we need to go, but one of the things that I get the biggest kick out of, and it's in my book, is when I got to interview all of these great and amazing, successful, very, very, very multimillionaires and billionaires, you start talking to them about their story, and they're hitting a sore point, and they start laughing. They kind of, I remember that. But it wasn't funny then, was it? That's what it wasn't funny then. But you laugh about it. So that's why these are good shows, because you learn that those pain points, one day you're going to laugh about them. And that's what experience is all about, is share and being able to share it, pay that forward too. But everyone, thank you so much. Don't forget to tune in to Chess Without Borders, because what I found out during my journey in interviewing all of these very wealthy people, they all played chess. That was one of the things they had in common. I couldn't believe it. All of these very wealthy people played chess at one point in time in their lives. And
Chess for Dummies.
Chess for Dummies, which is Jim's book, and it's a great book and everything. I know we're wrapping up, but I was going to just make the comment that you're talking about the pain that people go through and how they all have that. I actually felt that, and I just was curious if Bill felt it as well, but I did watch Michelle's speech yesterday, and I thought that she addressed a lot of that, and I thought that it was a very good speech when I watched it. I was just curious as to what Bill thought of it, just real quick, and then we'll just be done. But I was wondering if you watched it.
I thought it was amazing. And earlier in the show, when I had an opportunity to share with the panel,
you have to watch it.
Everything was authentic. That's what I think the authentic was day one, because everything about the 2-hour convention just sent that message. So,
and I think that's, I hope, what the tone we set from now until election day, but that we set. I don't care what the rest of the media sets, and I think that's one of the reasons Paul likes us is that we're setting that tone, and we're going to continue doing that, and we're going to continue growing the good news and sharing the positive side of things. Even though there's a lot of negative, we're going to continue growing and gaining. But until then, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we're going to share you more news about the convention, and we've got our ambassador to say how we need to be living our lives.
Coronavirus से कैसे बचेंगे? ये हैंड होकर और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अच्छू अच्छू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
And there you have it, folks. What a beautiful message from our youth. And we will be taking off now. Hi, guys. Let's end this broadcast.